parts of me. Turn your eyes in my direction. I want to let you see. I know you own my soul, so don't leave me on my own. Oh, I believe in happy endings. Could you make one up with me? Leave your heartache in the box, 'cause I'll be the one to set you free. 'Cause you belong with me, and I will try to be alive. You belong with me, and I will try to be alive. Cause you belong with me. I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the sun that will not move. Do you think you are? Who do you think you
Evening, everyone. Welcome back to the RSC11 playoffs. We're in the final week, inching ever closer to the end of RSC11, but we have more playing action for you this evening. My name is Mertz, and joining me is the man himself, Sir Winalot03. How are you doing this evening?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty excited for some of these games to be played here. We're going to see a high level of play like we did yesterday, and hopefully some tight games.
Yep, we saw the first half of the Master play-ins yesterday. Having a look at the bracket, but looking at the other side, we saw Real Legion advance, taking down Fearless Alpha. But now it's Inferno and Severance beginning their journey, with the winner going against Abyss for that final lower bracket spot. And then just that little bit on tonight, Messiahs will take on Infinity for the final play-ins game before we can finally get into some playoffs action tomorrow here on the RSC channel. But now I believe we're going to have a look at some of the stats. So team stats up first, or want to take us away for that?
Sure thing. And when you do take a look at some of the team stats here, you see an even number of wins, and that's really the big one, right? But goals for, goals against, looks to be a little bit on a separation. 181 goals against for the Severance team, and 194 goals for. That's high numbers. So I'm going to expect they have more goals against than Inferno has goals for. So I'd expect this is one of those moments where something's got to give. I'm going to expect a high-scoring game today.
Just looking at Severance stats, you can tell they're a high-octane team. They're scoring a lot of goals, but they're also letting up a lot of goals. Basically, they're also 333 saves compared to Inferno's 268. So there's still a little bit of disparity despite, you know, the attacking stats being a little bit different. But now we're looking at the individual difference makers on each individual team. And why don't you start us off with Severance to win a lot?
Yeah, sure thing. And Severance has a player here with 72 games played in Harv. And it's my favorite. When I see someone who's a veteran, who's got a bunch of games under their belt, I always expect them to play well today. If they're in the lineup, I hope that they do well. It's always good to see that. And in the other side here, we have one player with 68 games played, Joku. And Jokic is going to be someone that I look to counter the other veteran. And I always like to see a player with a lot of games under their belt. It's good to have that on the field.
Yep, definitely. And I'm going to highlight Harvey again. Came down from the Premier tier last season. He did play pretty well there. And he's showing up in the Master tier. He's a max MV player. So definitely a bit of a tight squeeze. But they've somehow made it work. And it's paid off with 75 goals for him in the 72 games. So he's played every single game of their league play campaign to get them into the situation. But now we're going to move on to our predictions. So Winalot, what do you have in store?
Ooh, I gotta do 3-1 Inferno today. I don't know what it is. Something I woke up and I was like, Inferno's got this. I had a dream last night, so I'm gonna stick with it, Mertz.
I've gone the exact opposite from you. I've taken Severance in 4. I think they have the better overall roster. I've cast them before. I know what they're capable of, and I have full faith in their capabilities of taking the series and find themselves in a matchup against Abyss. But now it's time to start the first game of the series, I believe, here on Beckwith Park night. Not Beckwith Park, Manfield night. See, Harv, first one to load in that beautiful Merc that he rocks the whole time he plays Rocket League. Maybe it's a little bit of superstition for him, and we'll see if it works out.
I'm always a superstitious guy. I appreciate the superstition coming his way. We do have an early 50 in their end here as they move the ball over to the wall here. It's going to be off the backside of the wall. Good touch by Jokic there. That's the veteran play, but it's going to be up and back down. Oh my God, Maris Harvey's announcing himself right away.
A little bit of a defensive miss happened. Your dog's crew are not happy with that play either, as I can hear him in the background. But Harvey will be happy with that one, as now only taking 13 seconds to find the opening goal in this one. And it's gone Severance's way. They're straight in there. That's a good shot on net, but Season able to make the stop. And now can Inferno get a little bit of a break? No, run straight down the blue end once again. And it's already 2-0.
Quick 2-0 lead in the first 30 seconds of the game, and it's not looking good, is it? Well, depends who you say that for, but it is not looking good for our boys in blue here.
Yeah, but maybe there's still time for their fortunes to change. But Harvey, when they're trying to find Clarky out in the right season, can't quite intercept it. Conflict can't be out. Harvey has been up and down the field early on. Can he find a second? It's a low shot, but Season will bail Inferno out. Conflict getting his save there. He's going to try and keep the ball. Harvey can't beat out Jokey there. And now it's time for Clarky to bring it upfield. He gets it past one. Does he have the boost to follow up? He can't quite get past Season. But Brun is there. There's a shot on net. But it's not the most threatening one in the world. Harvey taking the boost and trying to slow play down. But Jokey reads it perfectly. And he gets it past another one. Season there. Can he get into the middle? Yes, he can. But Harv instantly up and gets the 50. And so we're not. We've seen this first minute come and go. And what do you think is it that's been the difference between these two sides?
Oh, it's Harvey. He's everywhere. He's just every time they look like they have a blink of something on net, Harvey's just there clearing the lines and leading the charge, and then he gets back, he's stealing boosts from them. Harvey is quite the player. I didn't know he was gonna be, oh my goodness, look at him out there, Merritt. It's quite a sight to see.
And yeah, with a player with as much experience in the highest tier of RSC like Harvey, you've got to expect them to be as good as they are, and an assist there for Harvey to make it 3-0 in the first 2 minutes. And it was Clark who found the net from the halfway line. Nobody home for Inferno, and it's already 3-0, so win a lot.
Yeah, and this is the Harvey Show. Welcome in, everybody. Tickets are $100,000 a piece, and it all goes to the Harvey Foundation. This man can play Rocket League. I'm very impressed with him right now. As he nets another one, is there any answer to him, Merritt? I don't know what you have to do to stop a guy like this.
Yeah, certainly no antidote to his chaos so far, as he finds another straight into the bottom right corner. Season not quite back for the shot, and Severance already steering clear in this game one. You've got to think, even with as much time as there is left in this tier, where the games are usually so closely contested, you've got to think even 3 minutes isn't enough time to overturn this lead. You've got to bet your bottom dollar they're going to give the roll. It's a bit of a bad touch from Corky, but Ron trying to slow things down. He does get the fake, and Harvey will get the clear. Season trying to hold on to the ball. It's going to find its way to Jokey, and he's just going to try and slow things down, get to middle. Corky cleared away. Season demoed conflict, gets it past one, but Harvey, that man is there again. He gets it past one. He can't get the second touch, but it's going to find its way to his teammate Brun, but no follow-up can be made worthwhile. Corky trying to put it to the middle, and it's Inferno facing just an onslaught, but they haven't conceded this time. They're trying to get a little bit passing play going. It's cleared away. Harvey infield trying to show him how it's done, but Yoki Jr. does get it away, and now Inferno starting to wake up a little bit.
Yeah, they are starting to play. I don't know if it's to do with the other guys here maybe letting off the gas pedal a little bit. I don't know if that's possible for these guys, to be honest. But they do find themselves down 4 with 2 minutes left, and maybe they're just trying to figure out Harvey right now. As they get a good shot on net, and it's going to be steered off the left side. Then a huge demo on the goal line there. It should create some space, but it's only to the midline. Merritt, it's going to be looking here like it's all Harvey. He's just controlling the play. Like, he's bumping everyone. People are trying to bump him, but he's in a superior vehicle for that. Is that on purpose for him, do you think?
Oh, it's certainly working out so far, as he has about 438 points to his name, 2 goals and an assist on top of that, so an absolutely stellar performance to start the series. There's still time for him to grab more. Now Brun trying to get a slice of the pie. He goes solo, and he fakes that conflict, and he makes it 5, grabbing another goal to add to Severance's tally to start off the series.
Who are these guys? My goodness! Did you see that? He fakes the flip reset, lets it go under, and calmly nets it in. And one of the highest levels he could be playing at, I don't know. These guys are different. I didn't know this going in, that they were this good. I should have asked you first, Merritt. You always seem to know. You always have a good eye for this man. Maybe they get one back. Nope, they don't. Harvey's there on the goal line, and his teammates back up, and then Harvey gets the next 50. It almost feels like there's nowhere for them to go here.
Yep, ruthless on the offensive end, and certainly assured on the defensive end. Certainly very good start. Both up and down the field, or up the field again. Conflict does get the save, and now Harvey goes high, gets a past Conflict. Brun is there getting, I'm sure that's a tactical bump, because Clarky was there to follow up, and now it's 6-0. And just what a start for Severance.
Yeah, that's exactly how you'd write it up. You'd say, hey guys, let's go almost Brazil them. And everyone would be go, yep, let's do that. And then it happened. I would imagine that, the second game, there'll be some adjustments made, maybe a timeout taken, and go right back to the drawing board, because you know this is not how you want the second game to go, or it's going to be almost lights out.
Yeah, but certainly changes have to be made. Well, this series is young. You really have no time to wait. If changes to be made, you need to take the time to make it, or you will regret it. Now we're into the dying embers of game 1. Harvey trying to make it 7. Conflict will find a save. Run can't get the shot on net. Corky no boost. Only send it to the side, and now Yoki trying to grab at least one. The redirect comes through from Season, It will not happen. Conflict send high. Can Season get on the end of it? No. And game 1 in the books. Symbiote Severance will strike first blood.
Yikes from them here. Inferno is going to be wanting to do a better showing here, and I don't really blame them. They might have to just be getting used to the pace of play from Severance, and once they actually get back on par here, we could see a series still. Like you said, there's you got to win 3 games, not 1.
Yeah, but 19 shots from Severance, scoring 6, and Inferno still made 10 saves in that game and conceded 6. That is ridiculous. There's so much pressure, and I don't know what Inferno can do, because they're playing their role in the midfield. They're just getting outclassed at this point. You know, they still have 2 games for their eliminated, but something's got to change.
Well, Merritt, if it was me, I'd start introducing the Sir Win-A-Lot fake and demo strategy. Keep the ball on the ground. No one goes in the air. The ball stays on the ground. No more fun for anyone. That's what I would do, because I'm done. I'd be done after that 6-0. We're not playing in the air anymore. You keep beating us up there. Now, question is, can you keep it from going in the air? I don't know. These guys seem to be on the ball 1,000 times over. I'm just going to sit in the booth and let these guys try and handle it, Merritt.
One quick question before we get into game 2. What is the Sir Win-A-Lot flick? Please enlighten me about this.
Yeah, I have to check my TikTok for that, Merritt, so I don't really want to get into it now. It's a pretty serious thing in my Rocket League career, and it's really taking off, so we're going to let these guys play it out, and it might work here, it might not, but if they don't know about it now, it might be too late. That's an early double tap from Harvey, and it could have been pain right away for these guys, but they escape a 10-second goal, and they're still alive. 0-0 in this game. Must feel a lot better than that 6-0 they were on, and that's a great stuff. But it's going to be a start. It's going to be 1-0. Merritt, is it going to be more of the same from last game?
Well, we saw some Dylan's cast a curse yesterday, and we've had one from you there saying it's still 0-0. And running Corky, just have to make you eat your words in that case. Because it's 1-0. It only took 25 seconds this time. But Inferno, good kickoff. Harvey, Cameron Compose gets it away. Yoki intercepts. Shot isn't on net now. Clarky, a little bit of a risk there, carrying across the goal mouth, but it seems to have panned out well. Conflict and Season both going for a 50 and both winning said 50. So now they're starting to put a little bit of pressure on.
Jesus.
Very big risks from Severance early on here. Certainly don't quite look the same as Conflict will punish the slow defense. And the perfect sweep is off, and Inferno are on the board.
Wowzers. I mean, we're at 1-1 now. I wouldn't have guessed that going into game 2 here, but they seem to have made some adjustments and are putting more pressure on Severance. I hope this really shows the next bit of play here to come into play is going to be exciting, because I'm getting a bit excited right now.
Yep, I can tell you've got a love for Rocket League, I can tell you that. It's in the middle again. Harv can't quite get on the end of it now. Yoki can't get it past Brun, and it's going to find its way to Season. But now Severance starting to regain a little bit of pressure. Brun trying to send it into the middle, gets a touch past Conflict, and that shot's on net. Season somehow making that stop there. A little bit of an improvised double tap to get away, but they're not out of the woods yet. Harvey faster to that one. Brun faster to that one. Pressure ramping up. Brun overhitting the pass. Corky does send it back into the middle, but no one there. Now Conflict, no boost. That ball's left to roll. Harvey is faster. Now he's going to go for the demo. He gets it. Season having to rush back. Can Conflict get there? It was a valiant effort, but Severance, they're inevitable. They're back in the lead.
Yeah, that demo by Harvey just opened up the space, allows a 19-mile-per-hour shot to go in, and that's what demoing can do for you. It really does open up space there if you can hit someone through your rotation. They've done so, and they take the lead.
Yeah, but now Conflict trying to go down the other end. Brun there to stop any further attack from progressing. Clarky plays upfield. Harvey not quite able to make contact. He does grab that boost. But Severance, a little bit of a whiff, going to halt their attack. And now Yoki trying to play a little bit of a nuisance roll there. Season trying to play it back out to Conflict there. He's caught napping. Harvey, open net. It's a little bit of a tough angle. Conflict will get away. Now Season leading the charge. Beat out by Brun. Coming through in Conflict. Not much time on his hands. He is able to get away. And Severance, they're just playing so fast. They're not giving any respite to their opponents. And that's why they're winning.
Yeah, they're just not missing the ball either, like ever. I haven't seen maybe one whiff, and it's so hard to play against a team who's just going 100% of the time, and they don't miss. You almost don't know what to do. You're just like, okay, well, if we can't beat them in the air, we can't beat them on the ground, and they're stealing all of our boost, eventually the ball ends up in our own net. But they're still in this game, Merritt. It's 2-1, as they're going to get a chance here. As I say, they have a whiff. It's off the crossbars, back out. It's going to be a now. Oh, we have a game 2-2 with 2 minutes left, Merritt. I should stop saying anything, should I?
Well, you somehow turned the lobby into like a rival lobby there. I'm not sure what happened. It was a rare whiff from Severance, and then they just started to sort of capitulate there. And it also came off Brun with the final touch. Will count as an own goal, and now 2 minutes for Severance to reinstate their lead. Or for Inferno to actually grab their first lead. Here's Season, can't beat out Brun, and now Harvey using a lot of his boost. He's actually going to catch it, the defense. And Inferno, they came so close. You know, they're putting a bit of pressure on finally. And then one mistake is capitalized on instantaneously.
Yeah, he somehow just gets enough on that to clear the line of defense. It looked like he was in a good position to maybe play some defense there. Just could not collect himself for that ball. And they do find themselves again in the back seat, and they're going to have to find their way back in this game.
And they're building up a little bit more pressure here. Brun on the receiving end of a bump, but he's managed to keep on the ball. Conflict and hit up the ceiling hard. Perfect read. Season not giving them any rest. Jokey is there in the right spot. Brun with the pre-jump save. Conflict trying to keep the attack going, gets into the middle. No one there now. Brun collecting that mid boost and going on his merry way, trying to go solo. Season won't make the stop. He's going to send it upfield. Not much boost in his tank, so he can't do much with it. Clarky can though. Harvey's there, and Harvey scores 560 points and 2 goals, and a 2-goal advantage as well.
That's a great play off the back wall, then to get out of the way and let him bury it home. Harvey's just been very timely today, hasn't he, though? Just in the right spot at the right time. Nothing crazy, just burying those empty nets.
Yep, and sometimes in Rocket League you don't need to do it any more than that. But Jokey showing him that he has more of a ceiling than he's shown so far. But Brun is on the better end defensively. So he's on trying to go the way by himself. But Brun also getting away once again. Harvey sends it to the backboard. It's going to bounce down over the goal mouth. Jokey, very good composure to slow that one down with the fake. Now Conflict. Will Brun get there? He's facing a bit of pressure, but he does get away and finds Harvey in field, sending it to the backboard pre-jump. But the bounce is too high. Instead Clarky sending it into the middle. Season just going to resort to getting it into the other half. This time is quickly running out. Harvey pre-jump. Season shot too high. Jokey there. Cleared away by Clarky. Game 2. Quickly run out of time. One final shot maybe, but saved by Harvey. And game 2 more than likely going to Severance. And now a reverse sweep is necessary for Inferno.
You know, I think the reverse sweeps are usually possible, but it's just, it's usually off of a bit of momentum, right? It doesn't seem like there's any momentum right now, and if the timeout's going to happen, it has to happen now, because I don't know how many games they got left here. But they are looking better that game. They played with them Merits, and that's what we like to see.
Yeah, but only reducing them to 9 shots this time, so you know they've halved their offensive pressure, but couldn't quite half the goals. They could only let in 4 this time, and it's Harvey once again leading the way in the points tally with 667, grabbing 2 goals and an assist on top of that, along with 2 saves. So it's just a complete show of dominance from the Severance side, and you've got to think that's going to continue unless Inferno can't make some big changes.
Yep, and I do expect them to come out and give a good third match here, and it's going to come down to how much offensive pressure they can halt. It's hard to win game threes games if you're letting in 4 goals, 6 goals, right? You got to keep it a bit under that. Your defense has to be tight. So hopefully they can get that sorted in the back end.
Yeah, but now we're moving on to potentially the third and final map of this series. Sovereign Heights Severance, off to a great start in this series. 10 goals, and only 2 conceded in 2 games. It's a good start for Inferno Conflict, getting the first shot of the game, and now Inferno a little bit of pressure. They haven't had much time to enjoy that in the previous 2 games. Taken away by Harvey though. Jokey Jr. puts in middle. Conflict shot on net. They've been a bit wide, but Clarky mate ensuring it. Run can't get it past the first defender, but does find its way to another orange vehicle. Harvey, that shot's actually towards net. It was well anticipated in the second 50 as well. Season will focus on getting that one cleared. And Inferno, I believe this is the longest they've gone without conceding off of the first kickoff. And Inferno, they're doing quite well so far.
Yeah, they are. It's good to see a 0-0 score going into a minute of play. Harvey's been a bit quiet this match. He's done what he's needed to do all series, though. So when he gets pulled into the spotlight, we should expect some good stuff from him here. But they do clear the ball into their own end. It's going to be awkwardly back in the middle. No other than Harvey's there to clear it. And they are going to take a good touch off the side wall. He gets the secondary. No boost, though. Boost has been an issue for these guys all night. And you guys get the bump. He is up. Says is up. Is there any secondary? Well, Harvey's there. I'm not going to get tired of saying that, I don't think. But he's been there all night. He's really quite the player. Says is going to be up here again. He's going to get it back to his own corner. It's going to be safekeeping for Conflict. Good little half fake there. Hopefully one of his teammates can follow up on that. Harvey's going to push this in the middle. Burns going to be there. Oh, it's a good save by Joke. And he is taking off the ball. He is going to get a good flick here. He's got a chance. Harvey's up for the secondary. Really good stuff from them on the defensive end. Merits, this is going to go as fast as it can, but this might be our first opening goal. It's a save. It's a save. Oh my God, Merits. They have life.
I was about to praise them for their organisation so far, but it nearly all got unravelled. They need to give a big thank you to Jokey to keeping it scoreless, but it might not be for much longer. Clarky can't get on the rebound, shoots it very off target. Now Jokey Jr. on the counter attack going solo, gets it past Brown and the pinch. Oh my goodness! Harvey just got put in the montage, and Jokey Jr. opens the scoring with a beautiful pinch.
Oh my goodness, this is the reverse sweep on Merits. I can't tell, but it's so exciting to see them in the lead for the first time this series. There's so much hope now. What a save at one end, goal at the other, tale as old as time. And they're
Oh my God.
another run. It's 2-0 Merits. Conflict gets the awkward hit, bounces over. What's happening?
There might be life over at Inferno, because their spirits will definitely be a little bit more raised now after Conflict grabs the second. And although there's still more than half the game left, you've got to think they're in a lot higher spirits now. They'll definitely be more galvanized to continue this hot streak. But you can't count Severance, and especially that man on the ball now. Harvey does just opt to clear away that time. Now gets the ball gifted back to him, but Conflict retains the ball. Clarky rushing back to get away. Jokey Jr. That one's going to bounce down perfectly. Season's there. Season shoots wide. Conflict puts it back into the middle. No clear, but Brun finally does do that. He gets into the middle. Harvey does bully one off the ball, but Season gets it away momentarily. Harvey once again, the man who played in Premier last season, he's proven why he should be back there for the next. Conflict popping it up, but Clarky is there to clear. Season can't quite get an interception, but Inferno still with the pressure on. Will they be able to close this game out?
You know, you expect almost a player of Harvey's stature to score that double tap. I can't believe we're saying that, but it's in anyways. 2-1, and they're not out of the woods like you said earlier, Merits. It's they've taken another step into the short brush here because they are getting a little nervous with this minute and a half left as they concede one there.
Yep, Inferno maybe getting a little bit too comfortable in that case. They just, you know, that they were so caught up in all the offensive pressure they were somehow receiving. They sort of forgot how to play defense a little bit, and another chance for Harvey. Plunders the open net, and certainly something you think a player of his caliber should be converting. Those begging, that could be the moment where they could have potentially closed out the sweep. But Inferno, they still have life, and the clock is ticking down ever so slowly for them. but they're just doing all they can to remain ahead. Season intercepts it. Now Brunt slowing things down, just getting it away. Conflict there, 50 boost still in the tank, but this jump off the wall is a little bit ski-whiff. Can't really follow up. Brun can't get it past Jokey Jr., but it's still in the middle here. Season just gonna nudge it away for now. No boost in the tank for him. And the clock is ticking down ever so slowly into the final 45 seconds. Sir Winalot, do you see this game going to Inferno?
I do. I gotta say I do. And I will mention, wow, does that clock tick down slowly when you're in the lead, but when you're behind, it feels like it's gone over. 30 seconds feels like 5. So it is a race against the clock. Now they have a chance to seal it. They're gonna, it's in. Says does it. 3-1. Surely no way back now.
That demo play was so intelligent. Season just had so much time to gain the momentum for that shot, and he slots it perfectly past Brun into the roof of the net to make the arena shake with cheers as this game surely going to Inferno. And now the hopes of reverse sweep ring around the Twitch chat, as now we have a series on our hand. Inferno well and truly back in it, with hopes of their season still alive.
Yep, as this clock is now officially at 0, it is impossible. There we go. Inferno sees their name up on the winner's board, and that's got to be feeling good for them. They needed that one. Obviously, statistically, they needed that one, but mentally, it's got to do something for them. Hey, they are beatable. That's the word going around the Inferno room right now. Hey, guys, they're beatable. Everyone buckle up. We're going for a ride.
Yep, they certainly put on a lot better display, and it's something that they desperately needed because their season's on the line. It still is, but now they have a leg to stand on here, you could say, and it was Season who led the way in that one with at least one in every single statistic, and the goal to seal it with 25 seconds still on the clock. But that first goal from Jokey Jr., can we just talk about that again?
Oh.
The flip reset into the pinch, straight into the net, and Harvey was made to look silly.
Yeah, he was. It's hard to fault him, but it's something that he'll probably remember, especially if they lose this series. It's going to be a moment that we'll have to talk about for a little bit if they do come back, because that really changed the morality of this game, didn't it?
Certainly did. Inferno, incredibly raised morale. I'm not quite sure how it affected Severance, but that's something we'll come to find out. Will they be back with a vengeance, or will Inferno continue this hot streak that they've suddenly picked up? It's down to the players to show us that. It's game 4 underway. A little bit of attacking pressure already from Severance, something that we've seen so much of in the first 2 games, but was a little bit lacking in the third. Now Inferno getting the ball back in the orange half for the first time in this game. Conflict, bit of a whiff, and I think Jokey Jr. would have had that. The pass, find Clarky, finding the post and Season, bit of a lucky player. Now here's Brun taking it slowly, flip reset, gets it past one. Is anyone there? Jokey Jr. is the one to get it cleared. Clarky can't find its way into the middle, but Brun is there. Demo comes through, and Severance break the deadlock.
Well, it's time to rally the boys here. You're down 1-0. You've seen this before. A big demo in the middle, and it was the mounting pressure there, the shot after shot. They couldn't clear their lines, and here we are. 1-0 with 30 seconds passed.
But Inferno, they're not going to give up here. Season can't beat Brun off the kickoff. He was the goal scorer, trying to add a second here, trying to get the dunk. But they do stand tall. Jokey Jr. is going through those 50s at lightning speed. Harvey nearly getting on the end of that one. It will find its way onto the junction. Now Clarky trying to go high. Conflict does get the final touch. Now Harvey on a night of boost. Now here's Conflict. Inferno trying to build something back up here. But it's more of the same that we saw in the first half of the series from Severance. Inferno just can't get a look in so far, but they're holding up relatively well on the defensive end. That's a pretty risky clear, and that's a very, very much a wasted shot. 58 goes to a standstill. Harvey still managed to get it through onto the goal mouth. Harvey, one more. It is cleared away. Inferno needs to get downfield. But they're just being caught out every opportunity. Finally, they break free. Harvey getting the save. It's going to hit the ceiling. So it's still within reach, but it is cleared away finally. With 2 minutes gone, our Severance on their way to a series victory.
Oh, they might be. It was just crazy watching Harvey just 50-50 person after person. Somehow he won like 4 50s in a row. There's only 3 of them on the field, but it was crazy. He just kept going through everyone. I guess that's the perks of the Merc. Oh, it's gonna be in. They just couldn't quite clear their goal line there, and he just clears this off to the left side, but not enough from Says. Someone's on it right away. Sometimes does well there, and it's a 2-0 lead. Your prediction looking good.
Yeah, but when you make risky calls like that, you always got to make sure the road's clear. Because sometimes there might be someone called sometimes Corky waiting for you in the middle to just slot home, and that's what happened that time. Like Corky, when I get to the middle, it's just going to take a little bit of a detour before making it there. Harvey 50 does go a little bit away from the intended target. Still pressure on. Season gets it past Harvey, gets it past another. That's intercepted by Corky. Can he get second touch? He's up fastest, but he can't make contact. Run. Here he is once again. He gets a foot reset. Can he get back to it? No touch made. Harvey now just gonna head back, and now Yoki no boost. Fakes out one, but Corky unfazed. And down into the middle, and the clock ticking down once again. We've approached that 2-minute warning for Inferno. They need to score 2 unresponded, or potentially 3 if they want to pick up the victory straight away. It's game 5's on the line for them, but for Severance they want to close it out so they can go on to face Abyss in the next series. They're looking in prime position to do so.
Yeah, it's looking to me like this game is coming to an end, but this clock is doing its thing. It's really, it doesn't feel like seconds, does it sometimes? And I'm sure for these guys, they are a well-oiled machine mentally. They know what they have to do to get back in this game. It's going to be a question whether or not they can do it. It's a save. Brun with an expected save there, but needed one. And Harvey's going to be back up. It's going to be off the back wall. Says he's got to get a touch here. He does. Time is running out. You almost feel like if something's going to have to happen, it's going to have to happen soon. These guys are starting to mount some pressure as they do get like boosts in the right corner. Merits. It's going to be Harvey again, pre-jumping that. It's what do you do against that, Merits? He's just on you right away.
But it's somebody somehow found a counter in game 4, but Harvey did find a response, and the bells of doom are chiming for Inferno, because they only have 45 seconds to find 2. To find 3 rather, as Harvey will finally get the goal in this game to potentially seal the series. And it's that man Harvey has been on top form all night long.
Yeah.
And then the party's going to continue as Severance, more than likely, gonna face Abyss for that final spot.
Yeah, it may be a bit unfortunate to be, wow, a little bit of a whiff there from Harvey, but I mean, hey, that's okay. Hey, it's just, if you hit 99% of the shots, I mean, you're fine, really. Harvey shouldn't have anything to worry about here, but this got to be in. It is 3-1, a little bit of breath of life, but surely not, right, Merits? If you're still there, surely not, right? Maybe he's not there, guys. I don't know.
23 seconds isn't a lot of time, but it's still enough time, and that's the moral of Rocket League. There's always enough time for a comeback, and that kickoff isn't the worst in the world, especially with that 50 run per hit.
No way.
Maybe freeze down a little bit.
No
Season will capitalize, and they're within 1.
What?
What was Brun doing?
Are we witnessing the greatest comeback of all time? What's going on right now, Merits? Surely not!
Well, that's another good kickoff, but Harvey will cut out, and now Season sent to the corner. Yoki, last attack of the game, gets it past 1. Is anyone there to follow up? Season can't be run, but it might bounce up.
What's up?
Bounce up. Conflict can't get there. It's going to bounce down, and Severance advance.
Oh my god! My heart for a second there! I thought we were getting game 5. I don't know. There was something about it, wasn't there, Merritt?
I could certainly feel the magic as Season scored those 2 goals. But Severance did play a big part in that, especially Brun. Just doing a little bit of freestyle on his backboard. But, you know, it worked out in the end. And Severance are your Series 1 winner. You'll be seeing them in action again in about 20 minutes time. But that's not all for us just now. Gonna run through a little bit of what we saw from Severance. And for you, what was the difference maker?
Well, the difference maker was just one game. Everything else was going to be going Severance's way tonight. There was one game where the difference maker was that flip reset pinch, and that just sparked them. I don't know, they were playing so fast, but it's hard to stay there mentally, right? I have this thing about Rocket League. It's like I can play it 100% for a couple games, but my 80% is where I'm going to be a lot of the time. And it seems to me like Severance's 80% capacity was better than or equal to Inferno's 100% capacity. And for me, that's exactly what happened. They played at 100% capacity that one game and got some amazing stuff, peaked. But in the end, the consistency of Severance was too much.
It's a very overall, just a clean team performance from them. Didn't really seem to be troubled too much, especially in that game 1 and 2. Game 4, they sort of let it slip a little bit in game 3. You just got to say they were outclassed in that specific game. Yep. But they are through in the end. And my prediction was spot on, and I'm pretty sure Vector's was as well. I saw him saying 3-1 in the chat. So, you know, great minds think alike is what they say. And Vector is a very great mind. But that will be all for us for this first series of the evening. And we'll continue to watch Severance's run if they can continue it against Abyss in about 20 minutes time, and we'll see you then.
Hey, it's great commenting with you, casting with you, Merritt, as always. Our yin and yang casting style, I love it. I see some people in the chat love it. It's great to see you in here again, buddy, and I can't wait to the next game.
Yep, see you then.
what you do. just meant to be. I don't know why we do this, but every time we find ways to it, right around, up and down, but it's worth it when you're with me. I don't know why we do this, but every time we find ways to it, right around, up and down, but I guess we're just meant to be. Ice cold, swimming against the tide. I wanna forget you, but you pull me in. I know this ocean is far too wide. I wanna forget you, let me forget you. Push and pull, but you repel me, giving up this fight. Love and hate, we learned the lines. I'm giving up this fight. You've lost, but I don't feel I have won. I wanna forget you, but only time will heal. Too late to erase the bad we've done. I wanna forget you, let me forget you. Push and pull, but you repel me, giving up this fight. Love and hate, we've I know that if we try, you and I will find a way to fight it. Breathing you in, I feel chemicals combine. Breathing you out, I feel our memories entwine. Finally, feelings all inside here, denied here. I know that if we try, you and I will find a way to fight Breathing you in, I feel chemicals combine. Breathing you out, I feel our memories entwine. Finally, set me. I'm the storm that meets the moon. I'm the sun that will not move. Who you think you are? Who you think you
Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to RSC EU. It is the Master Playoffs once more, and we're here for a game versus Abyss versus Severance. Well, technically speaking, it's the Master Play-ins, waiting to see who is going to get into that playoff and Championship Saturday tomorrow evening. I'm Tom Dinner. Alongside me for this series this evening and for the next two series, actually, is Zep Casts. And Zep, welcome along to the stream. We're expecting a very, very entertaining game today because this is the lower bracket. It is the last chance, and of course the stakes are that the winner goes through to that Championship Saturday.
Yeah, it's a massive game coming up. I just cannot wait to get in and see how these players play, because I've actually never casted over the Masters before. So being able to see players of this level for the first time, like actually watching them on the screen, talking over them, seeing how they compete directly, trying to analyze their game is honestly so much fun. I cannot wait to get into it and see what these two teams are going to be able to give us.
Absolutely. Here is the play-in bracket then. We got the top half sorted out last night. Gladiators, Fearless, Alpha, then eventually RSC Legion going through to the playoff season. And then it is the lower bracket. We just saw Inferno get beaten by Severance. Severance move over to play Abyss for the winner of this, going through to those playoffs tomorrow. And then, of course, the series after us is Messiahs versus Infinity. But we have got some player and team statistics. First of all, it is the team statistics, 4th and 5th in league play. These two sides, 39 wins, plays 37 wins, 33 losses then. Obviously plays 35. Now here, the biggest thing that sticks out to me, Sep, is the 194 goals for of Severance. That is 30 odd more than their opponents this evening. Their touch for goal clearly seems to be quite prolific.
Yeah, that stat is definitely the one that jumps out and screams to you instantly. But just also looking with that as well, you look at goals against, is 163 to 181. Now that is quite a massive difference as well, and shows that they really set out to be more of an attacking team, where in comparison to what is sort of a really even performance across the board. So depending on how these teams are firing on the offense, just because one team is doing great in the goals does not mean that they are going to come out the winners, because at the end of the day, they're conceding quite a few as well.
High scoring contest then is what we are expecting as we have a look at the player statistics. Now here, immediately sticking out to me is Harvey. 72 games, 75 goals. If over the course of a 72 match season you're able to have a positive goal scoring ratio, that just goes to show how good of a season you have had, and there is no one on this Abyss side that can quite hold a candle to that record.
Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic getting that amount of goals in a season. It clearly shows the levels that these players are playing at. But, you know, every single person here at this level is a player at the top of their game, without a doubt. So when you're playing at this level and playing at this stage, well, no matter what stage it is with guys this good, you can't write anyone off at any point. It's a team unit. They all work together to score the goals, to defend at the vital moments. So, yeah, you can't write any of these guys off whatsoever.
No, you definitely can't. And in terms of predictions, which is something that we all competitively are predicting now with the leaderboard going on as well as casters, I have gone for 3-2 here to the side of Abyss. I think despite the fact that they have, of course, not played yet in these playoffs, they are, technically speaking, coming through as the stronger team with that bye into this round 2. I think they're going to have enough. It's going to be difficult for them. They're going to have to go to Game 5 in Champions Field, but I think they are indeed going to do this. Whereas Zep, I think you have gone for the opposite of me.
Yeah, I went for either 3-1 or 3-2 to Severance. I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and claim to be the biggest expert in Rocket League. I'm relatively new to coming in, checking out all these teams. So, you know, in terms of whose word to trust, I'd be telling the viewers at home maybe to trust yours more than mine. But I look at Severance having just after played a game and I think to myself, well, momentum counts for so much in esports in general, especially in Rocket League. So if you're a team that's just gone through after getting a win, feeling confident, you're still warm on the sticks, you're ready to get into the next one so that you can really catch the opposition out, especially in game number 1. It's really just going to be a case of how quickly Abyss can get themselves warm and caught up to the pace of the game, because I imagine Severance are going to go into this one and try and dictate the flow early on and catch Abyss off guard.
Absolutely, and we have got our players into the lobby ready to stop the talking and find out who is going to go through to these playoffs, which happen tomorrow on stream, of course. It's a long way to go before the grand final, but this is the first step for one of these teams at least. Abyss in the blue and Severance in the red, and it's going to be Harvey. Let's open the space for a shot for Brun. Clark, he'll try and put it back into contention, but it will be brought away here by EHZ. Brun will take it back forward. Taylor getting it cleared eventually. There's a demo, and actually we're seeing a lot of bump plays in the first sort of 20 seconds of this game. A bit of a fiery start, actually. These two sides definitely coming out here with a clear game plan.
Yeah, very chaotic so far, but you love to see it. You like seeing these two teams go right at each other quickly rather than feeling each other out. Nothing in terms of anything being incredibly dangerous on the goal yet, but of course they'll be looking to change that here. There's a great save, but another shot is going to come in, and a nice block there from Taylor. Very, very strong start from both of these teams so far. Both looking dangerous, but no one putting that final touch on it yet.
Absolutely, this is talking to me about who can break that barrier first. Here goes Harvey in the air, trying to go down the left-hand side, and Mills will put it back forward, but it won't be cleared effectively. EHZ has got a lot of work to do. This sets it up nicely for Harvey, who again off of the post this time. Won't be able to find the net. This will go for Clarkey, and finally able to tap it in to the roof of the net. And that is finally Severance taking the lead.
Well, Severance doing a fantastic job there, and just in terms of, as I said before going into this, dictating the pace. In terms of the early chances that they've had, it's definitely gone more their way. It was a very nice flick up. They took advantage of the pressure that they were applying, and brilliant start, but they got to keep it up. As we know in Rocket League, one goal is nothing.
It's absolutely true. This can flip immediately. Here goes a Mills trying to make that become a reality. It'll be cleared away by Harvey in a little bit of a rush. EHZ takes it forward now. Off of the royal board it goes, and Taylor will tap it home. That's pretty much point in case right there. The fact that in Rocket League a goal is not a lot. And there we go, first shot of the game for this Abyss side, and it's their first goal as well.
It's sort of an interesting play there in the overall from Severance, not actually having someone on the goal line. Because when you see someone taking the ball up onto the wall in such a dangerous position, you'd usually put someone straight on that goal line to try and make a defense. But, you know, overall it was kind of an easy tap-in from a terrific pass. It was the pass that made it such an easy tap-in. But, yeah, definitely questions on the defense there.
Definitely questions on the defense as Clarkey will swoop round to try and get to this one. It'll have to go off the backboard. Looks for a double touch and will find a double touch. It's his second goal of the game. It's Severance's second goal of the game, and they do indeed take the lead. That was a fine goal to get the beating of Taylor and Mills, who are challenging for it. And Severance starting to accelerate away ever so slightly. I say accelerate away. It's probably not the right word set.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are looking really dangerous when they go forward, so it is hard to say. I would honestly rather a 2-3 goal cushion for either of these teams before I'd be able to turn around and say that they might have this game. Really close so far, but you have to admire the finish as well. As you said, it was a terrific finish, getting up early, making sure to put it under the crossbar before any player could go in and clear it out. Fantastic goal.
Fantastic goal indeed, as here goes Clarkey down the left-hand side. There'll be a demo on a Mills. That might open up a little bit of space for Harvey once more with RSC in his game attack for this game. Brun will keep it alive inside of opposition territory, and Mills takes that away, takes a shot, and actually Mills gets a little bit of luck on the way through, but is able to scythe his way through this defence, and all the way from centre field will get the goal. It was a little bit unlucky actually on Brun, not able to do much with it. It was a good bump play as well, and there you go, back to a tied game.
Yeah, tied game again, and again, you're looking at the finish and you're looking at the defending that went along with it, and questionable at best. I mean, you look at the finishes that were put up, like, across the other side. They were so well orchestrated. Like, look at this again, nearly scored there by Bruin, and that was a fantastically orchestrated play, whereas both of the goals for the team in blue, they've been so simple, all things considered, when it comes to your Rocket League play. So again, questions of the defense has to be asked.
Here's Harvey taking a shot again, and he is going to find the net on this occasion as well. It seems to be, well, again, defense is not exactly on top. Shoot and you score in this game. Harvey with the goal, bottom right-hand corner on this occasion. I make that actually still not an incredible shooting percentage. They've taken 9 shots, scored 3 of them. That's only 33%. So actually, they're just peppering this backboard, and it's working for them.
Yeah, they've had a lot of attempts where they've just been getting it close to the goal. I mean, if you were to look at ones where you'd say, okay, those are... Oh, what a finish. I had to interrupt myself for that finish. Top corner, you absolutely love to see it. But going back to what I was saying, you look at the shots, there's a lot of them that were going in there that were more of a hit and hope. But in terms of the actual shots where they've been directing them towards goal with venom, there hasn't been that many, I don't think. So overall, I think the clinical finishing from both of these teams has been quite strong.
Yeah, absolutely, and Severance taking the lead quite comfortably now, 4-2 with 1 minute and 36 seconds to go. One more might just seal the game as EHZ will try and clear this away. It's in vain, gets a bump on Clarkey. That's a very aggressive bump, actually. He was taking a few stabs at that one. Here's a Mills taking a shot, open goal. And we have a game well and truly back on. 7 goals in the first 4.5 minutes of action. And Mills tapping that one into an open net. It's an absolutely easy finish for him, and it creates a very interesting last minute and a half.
Well, what have we been saying about every goal that Abyss has scored? Open goal, easy finish. And again, another one there. And to be fair, that was a terrific finish that's pulled them right back into it. But again, questions of this defense. If you're going to work so hard on the offense, at least put up a decent defense. But they're not at the moment. They're getting exposed every time Abyss go on the attack.
They are being exposed. Maybe just this Severance side needing to clean it up a little bit. We said their defense wasn't going to be the thing to keep an eye out for in this game, and that's clearly proving to be the case. And Mills will clear this to the right-hand side. Bruno will take it away from him. Off of the backboard he goes, looking for a double touch, runs out of boost, and look as well. Here goes Harvey taking a shot, glances it forward, and Taylor able to get the epic save credit on that occasion. Brune here trying to challenge this one down. Taylor takes it forward. Clarkey tries to take it away, but Mills will keep it in contention. Looks for the backboard. Clarkey brings it away only as far as EHZ. Harvey having to go up to this one, meet it on the backboard to try and bring it forward once more. It's a little bit of a pressure from Abyss at the moment, trying to use this attacking game almost against the Severance side. Here goes EHZ out of centre field, off of the backboard. He'll go as 30 seconds goes onto the clock, and Mills takes a shot, and Mills finds the net, and they lead for the first time in this game.
Well, I'm not going to lie, Abyss there were toying with their prey, passing it around the opposition half, just running that clock down a little bit. They're playing like a team now that are beginning to grow into this. We talked about how Severance had to take full advantage of the fact that they were warm. And to be fair, they scored some terrific goals, but now Abyss are beginning to look stronger and stronger as the minutes go by. Is honestly, all things considered, that was the first period of sustained offense this entire game.
It has been. They've got 15 seconds to try and hold on up the other end. Here goes Harvey trying to take this game on to overtime. Clark, he'll keep it in the air. 8 seconds onto the clock. It's a chance for Bruno, who takes a shot, and he finds the net as well. And with 5 seconds to go, a game on overtime starts to certainly loom here. 5-5, 10-goal game. Except this has got to be the most high-scoring game I think I've seen in the RSC playoffs this season.
Yeah, what a fantastic goal that was. And the fact that we're seeing such a high-scoring game, again, we talked about Abyss scoring some easy ones, which is questionable on the side of Severance. But you got to give credit where credit is due for Severance, because they have been orchestrating some phenomenal goals, massive plays, accurate shots, and an abundance of teamwork along with it that sends us to overtime at 5-5. Terrific game one that we're watching here.
Terrific game one indeed. 10-goal game. That's enough to probably frustrate any defence in the world. Here goes Harvey trying to make this a very quick overtime indeed, and judging by the defence that we've seen, it might just be that though. Clarkey is going to be demoed in the centre. That will take the pace out of the attack, stop that final man being there to tap it home. Taylor now going forward, takes a shot. Harvey is there on the line, able to get this one cleared away. Bruno chase it down, looks to go off of the wall. Here he goes in the air, not a lot of boost, sets it up for Harvey potentially. EHZ is home and able to take this one away with 30 seconds into the overtime, and neither side is able to take a shot and take a goal yet. Still a tied game, and must be the longest we've seen actually without a goal in the entire game.
Yeah, both of these teams have sort of gone back to playing scrappy, and it's hard to say who that favours, because we've seen Abyss score some easy goals in the counter-attack, and then we've seen Severance orchestrate some phenomenal goals on the counter-attack. So we're going to see who cracks first, and it does look like it might be Severance, if not for the fantastic defensive effort of Clarkey. We're still in this one with a minute to go. There is no telling who's going to take this game one.
Absolutely no telling at all. Here goes Taylor looking to take a shot. He'll be off of the backboard. Harvey clears it away. Now EHZ puts it back into contention. Off of the wall he goes, and Mills now looking to take a shot. Has Brun to beat off of the backboard. It might just loop in. It's a great save to bring this one away. Now Harvey goes to the left-hand side. Taylor looks to take a shot. No doing just yet, and it's going to be Severance now who have an attack. Tried to be cleared away by EHZ. He will do to this right-hand side. Taylor takes it away, and Mills will get demoed further back. That will stop again that attack really in its tracks. Here goes Brun trying to bring this forward. Challenges at Mills. It will be challenged very well indeed. And Taylor now can take this away on the left-hand side. Chance for a shot really off of the backboard. He goes, and it's still cleared away. These guys just playing with a sense of general caginess in this overtime that's seen the defences actually start to hold a little bit firm.
Yeah, well, Severance seem to have corrected their mistake throughout the game. Notice every time that Abyss send a ball up in the air, Severance straight away gets someone back on the goal line. And that is what has saved them as Bruin goes up with the finish. to make it 6-5. 2 minutes into overtime, take that game number 1. I have to say, again, I'm new. I haven't watched loads of what happens in the RSC, but I have a feeling that game was up there as one of the better ones.
Well, I think it depends on your perspective, really, because if you're a defensive guy who likes to see a good defense, probably not up there for your favourites game, but certainly entertaining. I do think actually sometimes these Rocket League games that are basically just ping ball, trying to figure out who can get that last goal, really. Everyone's scoring with practically every shot they take, which to be fair isn't true of this game. Severan's shot a lot there. They, off the top of my head, 16 shots in the end. To get 6 goals from that, that's pretty impressive, just under the 50% shooting percentage. But it can actually be quite frustrating to watch these games, I think, because essentially every shot that goes in, you feel, ends up being a goal.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where the defenses were lacking for a large part. But again, I think that's what's going to make game number 2 so interesting in this series, because we seen in that overtime both teams were getting better at locking up the defense, and we seen Severance make some fantastic saves, which is something they were really lacking for the most part of that game 1, as Abyss was taking advantage of some easy opportunities left to them. But now both of these defenses seem to have improved, so going into this game 2, we may see a slightly more cagey affair. I imagine the scoreline will go down a bit here.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair assessment of the situation. Both sides having a good account of each other from that game 1. One of the longer game 1s you'll see as well in a playoff bracket. 18 minutes is taking us to get to this point in the series. I've seen teams on match points at this stage in the past, so definitely an attritional affair at the moment. Here goes Harvey trying to create an attack early on for Severance. Brun will have to take it away, which he does. Taylor now challenging. This will be looped in the air for Clarkey, and Mills has to flip into this one. Turns around so elegantly there to try and take an air dribble forward. He'll put the ball into contention. Taylor now looking to take a shot. He'll miss the ball. Brun now takes it forward, challenged with EHZ. Harvey has to do his defensive work and will bring this away. But again, not much to say actually from this first 30 seconds. Both sides still feeling each other out, maybe.
Yeah, but Abyss, again, we're just holding the ball well in that attacking sense and looking dangerous. Again, they just seem to be a team that's growing into it from a more dominant perspective, just being able to keep the ball and do damage in the air. They're able to hold on to possession, but Severance still looking so dangerous on that attack whenever they go up. They are quick and efficient, but can their defense hold out is the big question.
Is indeed. This time it's going to be an awkward touch, and Mills has to save his teammate there for a moment. Harvey will keep it alive, but he's not able to do anything with the ball. A little bit of boost to work with. The HZ will try and clear it away. Harvey getting round to this one, trying to play it off to a teammate. Bruno challenge with a Mills, now try and take it away out of centre field, and Taylor eventually getting the strong clearance in, and a counter-attack started. Harvey having to clear this one away. EHZ takes a shot. These two sides finally having defences sorted out, it would seem. Taylor getting around to this one to try and take a shot. Harvey will take it off of him. Off of the wall it goes, maybe trying to find some forward momentum, but again, just stopped at the moment, going back to it. He's not leaving it for his teammates much, Harvey here. Maybe a little bit rushed, maybe a little bit panicked, given the situation of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the game's on a knife edge, let's be honest. Both of these teams, again, looking dangerous on the attack, as they did in game number 1, but it is just being matched by the good defense now. So it's really hard to tell which way this is going to go, but Harvey's also making some good moves up there. I mean, I did see Severance nearly catch Abyss out with the way they play, but again, you look at this situation here. Open goal. Severance, so you talked about them having the defense improved. Well, they just fell asleep once again there, and it has cost them a goal. That is another terrible mistake. How many open goals have they conceded in this series? They're really going to be kicking themselves about that after this.
They absolutely will, as we get kicked off once again. They're now chasing this game at 1-0 up in the series. This is a demo that might just allow the space. Brun does very well all on his own to try and create a shot, actually, and it's a save by Taylor. Harvey puts it back in, off of the backboard this time. Clarkey tries to keep it alive. Brun has got a lot of work to do, and Mills will get there first. Now Harvey on this left-hand side, again, very elegantly gets around to this one, takes a shot. It stands wide, a deflection on the way through, not putting it into goal scoring contention. Clarkey takes it out to the left-hand side, and we put back downfield. Again, a slight overcommit. Brun has a lot of work to do to get back to it, and does in the end get back to it. But again, it's an open goal. It's exactly what we talked about. Taylor tapping it in. I think that's his second of the game, isn't it?
I think it is, but that was just a rookie mistake again. It was, the ball was being cleared up. but it wasn't fully clear, so you don't abandon that defensive line. You make sure to hold someone back around that goal line just in case a rebound hit comes in from Abyss. And that was a case where they all just rushed up. Clearly must have been a situation of miscommunication there as to who was to stay back on the rotations. But again, all things considered, for how brilliantly they've played at moments, they're making some truly amateur mistakes on this defense.
Well, quite. They've got a game plan. It's just the game plan is totally not working in this game 2 and was only barely working in game 1, of course. That game plan being total 100% committal. Here goes Taylor trying to get around to this. The issue with 100% committal is that when you have your backs against the wall, it becomes very difficult to turn that into attack and turn that into a victory. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Harvey will get a shot off. It will be saved. Taylor taps this one down. It might fall nicely for Brun. Gets a 50 in. Able to win the 50, but runs out of boost. Has to set it up for Harvey, who himself not a lot in the boost department. It will be brought away by EHZ. And this is why Abyss are doing so well. They're able to weather the storm with the pressure and turn it into attacking momentum, which is not something that I'm seeing from the Severance side.
Yeah, weathering the storm, honestly, is the perfect way to put it for Abyss. Is again another goal that easier than maybe it should have been. But again, we go back to talking about Abyss and how well they've played on the defense here, not conceding one in game number 2. You got the feeling that in game 1 that they were just sort of feeling out how Severance were playing the attacks, the shots that they wanted to take, the way in which they were ebbing and flowing throughout the map, because Abyss just seem to have learned how Severance are taking the shots. Because I mean, look, you're seeing 5 saves across the entire team at the moment for Abyss, so it just seems to be a case of where they understand now how they have to defend against this team. As I say that, of course, they concede, which is typical Caster Curse, but for the most part, they've had a good read. Taylor's been fantastic in that defense for most of the game.
Forbidden Temple and Caster Curses. Well, I never. If you've been on the RSC socials over the last 24 hours, you'll have seen all about my Caster Curse last night in a very similar position to this, actually. A team trailing by 3 goals into the final minute, and then they end up taking it to overtime and winning. So definitely not speaking too soon just yet. This is a shot that comes in. Brun has to do his defensive work up the other end. This is a very nice shot now, and Harvey takes it away before it can really be pounced upon. Taylor trying to get round to it, and Mills will keep this one alive. And I'm not going to say it with all my fibre of my being. I want to say that this game looks to be going the way of Abyss. His shot comes in, Brun clears it away, and where there is a will, there is a way. So I'm not going to say it just yet, because I think there is still a little bit of life in this game.
I think you're giving Severance a bit too much credit here. I think they are trying. They may get one, but I think that's all Abyss is going to let in, because ultimately Abyss, they've been so strong in this defense. They don't look like they're slowing down. They're getting stronger as this series goes on. And it looks to me like they've won a pretty convincing 3-1 here on game 2.
They have. This might be finding its way in. Taylor will clear it away off of Brun's shot, and they do indeed win this game 2. You know, you never know. I saw a team bottle of 4-1 yesterday with a minute to go, so you have to be careful and maybe a little bit overly cautious in the end. But Abyss well, again, comfortable, I think, at the end of this game too. They're looking comfortable now in the series, and whilst game 3 is its own beast, having that double match point, Zep, I think that they might just be on for, not my prediction, but close to my prediction, the 3-1.
Yeah, it definitely is possible, to be honest. I think Abyss are looking like a team that are growing more and more dangerous. They have more in the back pocket to play, more cards up the sleeve that they're willing to show throughout the course of this series. Whereas Severance, again, they started off brilliantly. They've done exactly what I said they should do, which is capitalize on the momentum that they had from the previous game. But I think we're getting the sense of watching them that, you know, we're seeing what they're all about already. They're playing what they're good at. They're focusing on the goals, not focusing on the defense, clearly at times. And I just don't think they have anything more to show in terms of shaking it up, whereas I feel like Abyss could maybe switch into another gear. I could be completely wrong about Severance. Maybe they're just hiding it well. Maybe they're going to completely change their play style going forward. But, you know, if I had to put money on it based off the first 2 games, I think I'd have to give it to Abyss at the moment. But I want to stick with my prediction, all things considered. I'm rooting for Severance here, so I'm not wrong on my very first prediction on the RSC. But so far, it ain't looking too good.
No, it definitely isn't. Let me just get myself corrected. This is indeed game 3, so we're not quite on match point here for Abyss just yet, but we will be if they keep up that previous performance. Brun will try and take this one away. Taylor now looks to take a shot straight away in this game 3. He'll take a shot himself, and Clarkey clears his way. Now Brun can attack up the other end. Has got a Mills to beat. Will get over the top of it, but it's not on net, and it will be cleared away. Only as far as Clarkey, though. Off of the wall he goes, trying to keep it alive, with not a lot of boost to work with. Harvey now off of the wall. Brun takes a shot. Brun takes a goal as well. And Severance deal the first blow in this third game.
Well, that was a fantastic goal. I was literally about to say that Severance are running the risk of where their offense falters even slightly, then they're going to be truly in the mud. But it looks like that ain't happening anytime soon, with a perfect finish into the top corner, scoring early on, trying to reset the momentum once again, and they may have done so. 30 seconds gone. 1-0 to Severance.
Indeed, here goes a Mills. Off of the left-hand side he goes, looking to go forward. Harvey will challenge, get the win as well. Now downfield, Taylor will try and put it further downfield into opposition half, and Mills has to regain it off the backboard in the end. It's attacking pressure from Severance. Here go Abyss, though, trying to get their first attack really of the game. Brun clears it away. 3 men on the line for Severance, not making that mistake again, though for how long is the question. Taylor now creating a little bit of pressure, takes a shot, does EHZ, and Brun has to clear it away eventually, and Mills will take a punt downfield, but in the end it will go into his own half. Now trying to take it away, out to the right-hand side he goes, maybe looking central for a teammate. There is a teammate central if he can find him. Harvey with a strong 50-50, plays it back to EHZ. Seems to be the meta in this game, playing it back to a teammate lurking around that central position, but at the moment 3 minutes and 30 to go, it's still 1-0 to Severance.
Yeah, Severance playing very well so far, as they could have a good attack here. A poor shot from Clarkey, all things considered. But one thing that is kind of a puzzler as well from Severance, while they're in a good position here, it's still something worth considering. For a team that scores so much but also concedes so much, they don't really spend a lot of time on the offense. Like, you'd think as a team, if you're playing better on your offensive side of the game, you try to sustain good offensive plays. And while, to be fair, they've sustained a decent one there, for the most part, whenever we've sort of seen a period of sustained domination on the offensive end, it has been from Abyss. It has been Severance kind of playing a more of a counter-attack, orchestrating a quick goal type of scenario. So it's quite interesting to see Severance play like that. Maybe if they can look to actually gain more overall control in the game overall, they could really improve their offensive game even more.
And at what point do you think that is Severance's game plan versus Abyss dealing with their game plan very well?
Well, that is a great point, to be fair. I mean, I haven't really given credit where credit is due to how Abyss are playing against them. They're defending really well. I mean, we've seen the amount of saves that they had. I mean, I'd be curious to see how the amount of saves they've had all series, because I think it's going to amount to quite a bit. But my God, you'll see the good offense there as EHC scores a phenomenal goal. But yeah, definitely, you have to give the credit to Abyss as well, as that they've dealt with what Severance has been throwing out of them quite a lot at the same time, as Severance have maybe not been at their best in certain areas. So Abyss definitely proving that they're a team not to be messed with here.
Yeah, the last thing you really want to do is give a free scoring team the chance to score freely, which they did in game one. They've tightened it up a lot, and markedly so, in this second and third games, and now they've got that lead. They have got the lead. EHZ taking a shot. His second goal in about 20 seconds. His first goal was very, very nicely done indeed. This second one, just as nicely done, smothering the ball into the net, and quickly Abyss do the 1-2, turn the game around.
Well, that was just a goal of pure quality, to be honest. I mean, no matter how the flow of the game was going, the individual moment of brilliance there from him is just quality. I mean, yeah, fantastic goal, really well played, and Abyss, again, they haven't been the most dominant in this game. If you were to talk about, you know, who's had the better game, as it's been evened up once again, I'd be putting my money on Severance, but Abyss, they took the lead very, very briefly.
Well, they did take the lead very, very briefly, and the free scoring team starting to score a little bit more freely after the break in play. Let's get back going then. 1 minute and 46 seconds. I doubt that will be the last goal of regulation time. If anyone's here to cheat the kickoff, it won't be cheated very well. It was an open net. However, no doing just yet. Harvey chases this one down. It will be taken away by EHZ. Only finds Clarkey, who gets demoed. The aggression very much ramping up here in this game. EHZ is in a very good position to play this one. Goes out into midfield. Only finds Clarkey. Clarkey taps it down to Harvey. Harvey takes a shot, and Taylor will get the clear away. Here goes Brun, though, off of the backboard. Clarkey will be beaten in the air by EHZ. Here goes Taylor, all going alone. Harvey challenges and gets back very, very well as that last man. 1 minute to go just about. We're still at equilibrium in this game, though Harvey might try and change that. And I honestly think we might just see an overtime.
Yeah, it is possible. I have a feeling the next goal that we see in this game is going to be the last one, because both of these teams are beginning to shut up shop again, trying to see out this game, just squeeze an opening to sneak the game and then leave it at that, going on to the next one. Neither team wants this to continue to be an open scoring game at this moment. So if we're going to see a game in regulation time, it certainly will be the last one, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Here goes a Mills looking to take a shot. It won't quite find the net though. 34 seconds to go in the normal time of this game. Taylor will take it out of midfield, look to take a shot. It might just loop in, but Brun is able to clear it away. Now Mills looks to go off the corner. Central he goes. Harvey clearing this one away. Brun now taps this one forward. Clarkey will chase it down. There is an open net if Harvey can get there in the centre. Harvey is in the centre and Mills challenges, and Harvey can only do a high and wide shot. 10 seconds to go for either side to try and find potentially a buzzer beater. It might not just hit the floor. If they can get it into the air, they will get it into the air. Downfield it goes. Harvey has to get to this one. He will, and it just is a chance for a Mills, and no. Overtime is where we go. Game 3.
Yeah, it's been a terrific game to watch so far. Both of these teams, honestly, really evenly matched overall. This has been the most even game as of yet, just in terms of an equally good offensive and defensive performance. Of course, I know both teams have conceded 2 each, but they've been some quality goals. So just in terms of competitiveness, in terms of some really good Rocket League on display, I think we're seeing a very well-rounded game here.
We are. Here goes Harvey trying to take the lead in this series. Of course, the winner of this game does indeed go on to take the double match point, and Mills will drop this one down, maybe for a teammate, but it will be cleared away. Now Harvey taking a shot. EHZ has to get there. He does after it comes off of the backboard. Here goes Taylor now all alone, a little bit of space. Clarkey will challenge down, get quickly to it, and gives Clarkey a chance actually to try and take a shot into the centre for Harvey. Harvey will be challenged by EHZ, runs out to boost both of them, and eventually Mills will take this away, only as far as Clarkey. EHZ back flipping into it. Out to the corner it goes. Taylor looking to drop this one down, only as far as Harvey, who now looks to go for a read off of the wall. He gets the read on Mills as the last gasp attacker. Is it enough though? Into the centre, and Brun can't find the net. And wow, both sides really backs against the wall at the moment.
Yeah, so close yet so far. I think this is the first time that we've seen Severance sustain an attack, and my God, they look dangerous when they can keep that ball in play and in the opposition's half. They just got to put it away now. They're looking the better team in this overtime. And again, we talked about this team really riding on momentum overall. Well, they've got the momentum here for this game overtime. They have to keep it going. They have to capitalise and get the winning goal.
Taylor will challenge this one down. It won't find its way in. Second lengthy overtime of the series. Taylor looking to take a shot, but Clarkey clears it away. Severance making sure they've got those 3 men on the line, tightening it up a little bit after those first 2 games where they conceded a fair bit. Here goes Mills looking to challenge this one down. Taylor's there for support. Taylor actually ends up being the one who goes for it all alone. Brun and Harvey onto it like hawks. Here goes Brun downfield. Now Harvey looking to take a shot. I appreciate that it's totally not the phrase, but we're in the right ballpark, I think. Taylor going forward. Harvey will challenge once more. And it's such just a cagey overtime. This could honestly go as far as they want it to go.
Yeah, I think one team is surely going to give in at this point, because you're right, it has been so cagey. Other than Severance having that dominant attack, it's just been very back and forth. No team really looking threatening. Of course, they'll be looking to change that. These guys don't want to be here all night. Someone's going to come in and try and go for that killer blow, and it looks like it might be Severance here as Brun goes up. Good defense, quick to get back onto the line. Severance may be in for another period of good offense.
Absolutely. Clarkey and Harvey will go for this one. Clarkey should have potentially been given that one, I think. Here he goes, though, looking to go forward. Nice little passing play, but it's dealt with diligently in the defence. Clarkey now taking a shot. Taylor, I apologise, EHZ will get the save. Brun now, though, keeping this one alive. Off of the ceiling he goes, trying to go forward. No boost, though. Taylor having to bring it away. Harvey will challenge. Difficult to beat him in the air. Now this one drops central. Maybe a chance for someone to take a shot. There won't be. Brun getting round to this one. EHZ challenges. Now EHZ going forward once more. Harvey clearing away. 3 minutes and 30 into this overtime. We're quickly approaching the point where actually we've almost had an extra game of Rocket League. Taylor now cushioning this one down. He goes forward. Harvey brings this one away. And again, there's not really much to say at this point, apart from both teams cannot find their shooting boots.
Well, again, you have to look at the stats and give credit to Abyss. They have had 10 saves so far in this game, which really shows the quality of the shots that they're having to get the one goal, and then the quality that Abyss have to be able to defend against them. So Severance, again, sort of typical to what we thought we might have seen based off the stats. More dominant on the offense, but Abyss, for the most part anyway, seem to be still holding out on the defense.
Bruden now will take a shot off the backboard. It goes, maybe the best chance of the game so far, but Harvey not able to follow it in. It's dealt with very well indeed. Here goes Taylor, that little extra boost as he jumps into it, and Mills will challenge it. Pops up rather nicely. If AHZ can get there, he can, and Mills now takes a shot. It's out to the far post, but Harvey does very well to get onto it quickly. Now he chases this one down, looking to go forward, trying to create something for his teammates. Clarkey will get to it. Taylor will also get to it off of the backboard and bring it away. Now Brun having to deal with the pressure. Taylor puts it forward. Now Taylor taking a shot. Another stroke of the 5-minute mark. Wins the game for Abyss.
My word, what a finish there from Taylor. A little unfortunate, I think, all things considered. That's how I feel Severance to be feeling here at the moment, because they played a fantastic game. Again, were dominant on the offense, are looking much stronger compared to all the mistakes that they were making in that game one. So they're definitely learning as this game goes on. They're improving. Might feel a little hard done by, I think, just given the fact that they were so strong in the offense. They had some shots come ever so close. But you got to give credit to Abyss for just holding out on the defense. They had 11 saves, I believe, and just waiting for the right opportunity to go on the strike. They knew Severance were pushing up. They knew that they were leaving the third man on the halfway line, and they could eventually expose that on the counterattack, which isn't really how Abyss have been scoring their goals for the most part, other than game one. It hasn't been easy counterattacks. It's been dominating offensive play. So the fact that they managed to come in and just sneak it when they did shows great adaptability in the game.
It does, actually. It really does. And Abyss have played the game plan absolutely perfectly. They know this Severance side aren't going to excel in those games that are tight, in those games that are awkward. And that's exactly what they've capitalized on. They know, actually, our defense is pretty decent. It's not, you know, it's not, our attack isn't particularly worse than this Severance side. But actually, if we keep it tight, we're going to find ourselves winning these games.
Yeah, exactly. Abyss just going with that mentality of just keeping it tight, keeping it locked up. And again, you have to give credit to Severance for tightening up their defense as well. I think no matter how this series goes, even though Abyss seem like the team that are favored now to win this, I think even if Severance win this overall, if they manage to pull it back and take it to a game 5, they will be kicking themselves over the mistakes that they made in that game 1. Going back to those, you know, open goals, not having someone rotate back at the right speed. Those are mistakes that are, you know, very easily rectified. So definitely things, I think maybe for Severance more than Abyss, but definitely both teams can go back to the drawing board in certain instances.
Here goes Brun chasing this one down. It's a nice pinch off of the right-hand sidewall. Harvey will go up for this one. It's a good demo, and it will open the space for Clarkey to tap it in into an open net. That is the demo play you need to break a very, very staunch defence and produce a Morris guy, dare I say, probably smiling to himself there, because that was a perfect demo play.
Yeah, fantastic demo, and you maybe wonder if that's what they were saying on the comms to each other between games, that this Abyss is a fantastic defense, we got to focus more on demoing the person on the back line. Maybe it was just a coincidence, but if it was, they certainly have to keep it going, because honestly, I think that's the only way they're going to be able to get consistent breaks through this opposition team.
EHZ runs this one forward, unable to find a chance for his teammates. Now off of the backboard it might go. Harvey gets the clear away, and Mills keeping it alive. Brun eventually booming it downfield, and it will go all the way into the blue corner. He chases it down all by himself, almost like a rugby player there. Into the centre it goes, and Mills will try and take it away. Not any doing just yet. Harvey keeping the pressure alive, gets a demo as well. It's the second demo play of the game, and Clarkey trying to cushion it down to a teammate, not able to do much with it. Here goes Harvey getting around to this one. There's no one home. In fact, Clarkey might take a shot, and it might a little bit dozy moment in defence, not capitalised on. Maybe Brun can capitalise. No, and Mills with a very good save.
Yeah, well, if you're getting to the point where Severance aren't capitalising on the offensive opportunities that they're given, then they're really running out of assets to run with in this game, because that's kind of been their saving grace. It's just been having such quality in the offense, putting that ball in such dangerous positions. And yeah, that lapse in concentration seems to have trickled over the both sides here in that instance. As you know, they're still in the lead, but it's still looking dangerous. So you cannot write Abyss out of this, no matter how many goals they go down.
Absolutely, as you know, this series is going long because Tavish, who always likes to be in early, just accidentally joined our Discord call, assuming that we'd be off air, but no, we're still playing here. And can't say I haven't done that in my past. Here goes Emils looking to take a shot. Daly off of the back foot. Now Harvey down the left-hand side, up the other end, looking to take a shot as we trying to get through this game. 2:30 to go. This shot will be saved by Emils. Daly downfield over the top of one. Clarkey will be home. And Clarkey tries to chase down the right-hand side against, but eventually Harvey will have to bring it away. Emils keeps it alive. Brun now out to this far side, taking a shot, but he's not going to be any doing just yet. 2:04 onto the clock. Make that 2 minutes as I finish speaking. And I think Abyss just need to find something here. This might be it, actually. Emils looks to fake. He won't be able to find it. EHZ fakes out by his own teammates, and he can't get around to it, but it's still Abyss in possession. Maybe a chance for a shot. In fact, up the other end, Harvey taking a shot. Clarkey looking like he's going to send this one into a game 5, but still too early to say.
Yeah, definitely too early to say. Again, a little bit of a lapse in concentration and miscommunication from Abyss on the attack has cost them big time as Severance orchestrate a masterful counter-attack and put that one away to give them a little bit more breathing space in this game. A little bit too much time to go for them to feel safe, but they're certainly going to be happy they have that cushion.
Absolutely very happy indeed to have that cushion, but this Abyss side know how to score when they want to score. We've seen it before. We've seen a couple of comebacks from them. This will be glanced into the centre. A little bit too much weight on it though from Taylor, who now has to swoop around to it, leave it for EHZ, who misses the ball. Now Taylor has to use his turn at the ball. EHZ looks to play it back to him, does do very well. Harvey is on the line, able to clear this one away. Emils looking to go forward. Clarkey downfield. Taylor round to it, gets to the ball. Over Harvey. Clarkey is home, a minute to go. Looking like this might indeed be a game 5. Clarkey, another demo play. It's another demo play, and it's another goal. Clarkey indeed. 3-0 to this Severance side. The demos is such a predictable game plan, but it's a game plan that is working absolutely perfectly. To add salt into the wound, it didn't even chase the ball down.
Yeah, well, it just shows that even the simple game plans can work when you implement them at the right time. I mean, we haven't seen demos really come into play at all, and we're at game 4 here, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we're at game 4, right? I think we are.
Game 4 indeed.
Yeah, game 4. So, you know, it hasn't come into play until now, and I did say that that's something that they might have talked about and having to do, and the fact that it hasn't been brought into play until now, Abyss probably weren't expecting it. They didn't have the read for it. So they've implemented it at a fantastic time, Severance, and honestly, the fact that they decided to implement those demos is probably the reason why they're going to take game number 4 here and take us to that game 5.
Well, with 23 seconds to go, it's definitely looking promising for them. It might be a 4th here, it won't be. Emils with a very strong save off of the line. He now chases down, trying to create something of these last 14 seconds, but I think it's going to need to be 2 kickoff goals plus a goal here. This won't be turned in, it'll be taken away. Shot comes in, shot not going to go in though. Harvey clearing it away, and it is indeed going to be Severance, who we can say for sure now who are going to win this game 4, and we go into a game 5, potentially a game that we predicted would go to game 5, and that's exactly what has transpired. Zep, game 5, absolute pressure cooker. Both of these sides playing for their seasons. The Master Tier is always a competitive one, and this is just the start.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams playing so well. You're absolutely right. We are on for our predictions off air. I gave it 3-2 Severance. I know when we went on air, I went a little bit flaky. Maybe said 3-1, but I'm going to pretend that didn't happen, and I'm going to fall back on my off-air prediction of 3-2. You yourself, I believe you called it 3-2 to Abyss. So we were absolutely right in saying that this one could go down to the wire, but whichever way it goes, it's honestly impossible to tell. But one thing we can say for sure from after watching this is that both of these teams are very evenly matched in terms of their different qualities. Each team brings something different to the game, but the way that it's just going up against each other is leading to a very competitive game. It's super entertaining to watch. Both of these teams are giving it all. Now that it goes right down to the wire, you know, We're going to stick to our guns with our predictions, obviously, but I think no matter what team that wins, you have to give credit to both.
Yeah, you have to give credit to both. It's been a very fascinating series as a contest on the field to watch, actually, in terms of how these two sides have had to adapt their game plan. Something they've done very well, actually. It's been a very tactical game, and that's something you don't often see in Rocket League, particularly as eccentrically as this one has been tactical. Here we go then. Game 5 getting underway. Champions Field, one team progressing to the playoffs. One team, their season going to end early. This is a very early blow for Severance. Saved by Taylor. This will be a shot off of the backboard, maybe into the centre. We tapped him up front. And Severance deal the first blow in the all-conquering Game 5.
What a fantastic start. Perfect finish. And what we have said about Severance all game, all series, that the key to them winning was going to be their aggression and their dominance on the offensive side of things, being able to put the ball in the back of the net, and they showed all of those attributes in the first 10 seconds of this game, getting so high up, getting so high to the point that they were catching all the players of Abyss underneath the ball and just shoving it right in the top corner. Fantastic start from Severance, but there's a long time to go. Neither team can let that goal affect their game plan.
You know, 5 minutes might as well be 90 in a Rocket League game, particularly one as long as this. It won't feel that long for these players. Here's Brun taking his second goal of the game, and he has stepped up in this first minute, really giving Severance this chance to go through into these playoffs. And Abyss, at the moment, do not know what has hit them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was just a fantastic shot. Like, in terms of accuracy, you know, putting it left and right, it was nothing special, but it was just the pace he got on the ball. The fact that he got a touch at all was what took it past the defender. And yeah, terrific goal at the moment. But Abyss, they're a team that can go so dominant in holding the possession of the ball that they could make those 2 goals back up in 30 to 40 seconds. So, still, by no means can you say that this game is over, but if Severance can keep up their attack looking this dangerous, I think I might be on for my first correct prediction of the RSC.
Well, half right. Let's. You did predict 3-1, but you get points for that on the leaderboard, by the way. There is a nice little leaderboard you can access. I'm currently 6 points behind Merits, which is very frustrating indeed. Hopefully I can pip him to the post this weekend. But games within games. I think it's the cliche for that one. Harvey now taking a shot. It'll be off of the crossbar. Brun challenges it down to look for his hat-trick. Game 5 hat-trick. Having to wait, though, for the time being. Clarkey stops it in centre field, and Mills now taking a shot. This will get them back into the game. It will be double touch. It will go over the top of one. And eventually, a rather rushed and thankful defence will get this one away. This is a shot, though. A shot once more off the backboard, and Brun takes it away.
Yeah, fantastic defense there to get it cleared out. A dangerous offense coming in for Abyss, but again, if they can just hold out for another minute or so, keep up the defensive play, force Abyss into positions where they're not going to get clear shots, then Severance may take this one. It's still, I still don't really want to say it's guaranteed Severance, though. It's the way this series has gone. Both of these teams have been so competitive all series.
I certainly don't want to be calling games too early after the previous 24 hours. Off of the corner this goes. Harvey gets demoed, but Clarkey will do his defensive work. Now Taylor looking to go off of the ceiling, and it won't drop down nicely for anyone apart from Brun. Still in search of his hat-trick with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. Clarkey now down the right-hand side, and Mills will try and cushion this down to a teammate. Clarkey now taking a shot.
Oh
my word. He might just find the net and might just put this Severance side into the playoffs. That was coolly done. I mean, that is a drop the mic moment.
Well, Clarkey has just absolutely closed off this game, in my opinion. That was a goal with style, with flair. Didn't even need to take it into the air. Just a quick little dribble to the side. Easy as you like it. Severance now playing like a team who have all the confidence. Abyss fighting to stay in this one. It looks like it might be night-night for Abyss in this, I'm not going to lie.
It might just be, but we've seen plenty of good comebacks. It starts here, but Clarkey with a huge save. You know, 3 goals is never as much as it seems, but if you're able to take that time off of the clock by making the good defensive saves, you might just find yourself winning this game in 1 minute and 40 seconds time. Here goes Harvey looking to take a shot, not quite able to find it just yet, and Mills downfield, there's no one there, and the overcommits starting once more, and maybe the comeback trail starting up.
Severance. Why, with a minute 30 left and 3 goals up, are you overcommitting? If you had just waited 30 more seconds, you could have maybe got away with the cocky overcommits, but that is too early. This game has gone straight back to being competitive. And honestly, if Abyss score within the next 30 seconds, then Severance could be in deep trouble, because we've seen this be a series of momentum. And if Abyss start getting their momentum back, Severance, they're going to be regretting that overcommit.
They will be worrying about that overcommit, potentially season-defining moment, but at the moment, this is just running the clock into this corner. Taylor now will look to go off of the corner. Downfield goes Clarky. EHZ will try and get round to it, not quite able to do so. Taylor gets demoed, so they're cut short at the defence at the moment with a minute to go. At the moment, Severance are just holding on. Oh, there we go.
My word. Bruin managing to sneak that in. Is that for the hat-trick for Bruin? I believe it is. Definitely not the most stylish of goals, all things considered, that we've seen throughout this series, but certainly one that gets the job done. Severance, I think they're getting away with one here at the end of the day. They started to lapse in concentration again on the defense. Abyss were beginning to take advantage of that, but maybe just capitalizing on the little bit of panic that had set in for Abyss, knowing that they had to be more aggressive and get the goal, and they managed to sneak one in. So yeah, there's a bit of a GG's on this one for Severance, I think. They've just about done enough.
They might have just done that with 30 seconds to go. 3 goals, probably insurmountable. With 25 now onto the clock. Almost certainly so. Taylor will take a shot, though. Try and keep your season alive. It starts here. It starts with a miracle. Clarky will bring it away. 15 seconds to go, and it is indeed going to be Severance who go on into these playoffs tomorrow. Abyss look to be going home. They have had to dig into the abyss, reach into the abyss of Severance to get this win, but in the end it took them 5 games. They are going to playoff and the championship Saturday still, though, in terms of the context of getting to that grand final. Before you even think about winning the championship, it is a long way to go.
Well, massive congratulations to Severance there for winning that, taking it to a game 5, but you gotta give particular credit for the man who got the hat-trick, Bruin, leaving the opposition in ruin as he manages to get the 3 goals to sneak that game 5 for his team. A great series on the overall. We've seen very different games. Of course, that game 1 was a bit manic for the offense. Both of these teams back and forth, some scoring great goals, some goals a little too easy. Game number 2, it closed right back up. I believe that's the game we had quite a lot of overtime on. And then from there, these teams just started going back and forth, going blow for blow, each showing the qualities in their areas where they seem to, looking at the stats at least, excel at throughout the majority of their games. And yeah, it led to a very entertaining series playing at the top level, and both of these teams, I think, have a lot of positives they can take away from this, but certainly negatives as well that they can go back to learn and improve on.
Yes, and well, I would love to give you, ask you for more closing thoughts on the game, Zep, but unfortunately, we're so pressed for time that we're going to have to go to ad break. Tavish will be jumping in here after me for the next series, the final series of the night, which is Messiahs versus Infinity. That should be a very exciting match from the upper tier. And, well, of course, I'll be back tomorrow for Championship Saturday in the Master tier. But for now, thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you all later. Good night.
seem to let it eat me up. You influence my frame of mind. My heart is stuck in a loop of your rhythm and rhyme. I tried to replace you with something new, whilst my body dries, heartbreak along the ground. Dancing about the idea of you, whilst you decide if I belong to lost and found. You know I'm dying to reach out to you. I'm trying but you can't see. You say my calls never come through. Why can't you just hear me? I'm crying 'cause I can't feel you. My heart's sinking to my feet. I'm lying 'cause I can't touch you. Why can't you just hear me? It seems to have impact on me. I feel pain every time you cry. You say you'll be back before I know it. Why'd you always lie? I tried to get on with somebody that's not you, whilst I hide the pain that sits before my eyes. Dreaming about the idea of you, whilst you decide if I fall or if I fly. You know I'm dying to reach out to you. I'm trying but you can't see. You say my calls never come through. Why can't you just hear me? I'm crying 'cause why can't you just hear me? Why can't you just hear me?
Welcome back, everybody, to the RSC Master Playoffs. I'm Tevin, I'm joined here by Zepcast. I took over for Tom. Tom, thanks for all the cast here, but I'm taking over here for the final series of the night. And we do have a very spicy matchup here, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a good one. Again, I haven't seen these teams perform before, but I certainly think it's going to be a great game. You know, we've already seen a Masters game just before this one where we've seen two teams playing at the top of their game, at the top level. So I'm looking forward to seeing what these teams can bring to the table.
Yeah, like you said, we saw Severance take on Abyss where they won 3-2. And that was at the lower end of the bracket. Now we're moving to the upper side of the bracket. We're having Messiahs take on Infinity. And Messiahs being the third seed from the Ignis Conference. Sorry, that's Infinity. Messiahs being the second seed from the Glaciers Conference. So both teams being top 3. Obviously the reason why they earned that upper bracket spot. And, you know, during league play, Messiahs, they went 10-4-4. So 10 wins, 4 draws, 4 losses. Infinity, a little bit of a worse record. They had 7 wins, 6 draws, and 5 losses. So Infinity, a team that most likely will draw earlier than win, purely because during or the opponents were more aggressive, or they had difficulty adjusting to how the other teams were playing. And do you think that will affect them here in this series, Seb?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly could affect them. It is a possibility. Again, just at this stage, you know, looking at the quality of these teams, it's sort of a given that I say this nearly about all games, is that with all of these teams, is that the stats can come into it, how the flow of your season has gone up until now can come into it. But when you get into the games and you get into the moment, it's all about how you perform on the day. It can all be about mindset, how you feel going into it, how warmed up you are. I mean, just looking at the stats even that we just had on screen, I believe, if I'm correct, it was Messiah, was it, that had 200 goals for and 128 against. Some fantastic statistics there in comparison to the other team, but that still may not count for much in the moment. You know, it just depends. It depends how you're feeling on the day. And yeah, I just think with these teams, they are playing at such a high level. They're both very, very talented teams, of course, be playing at this level. So honestly, I think regardless of how much we read into it, it can really go either way on the day.
Yeah, and it's exactly like you said. Messiah having 200 goals scored, 128 conceded. Infinity 162 scored, 166 conceded. So Infinity being a little bit more on the average side, where they score, they concede, and where Messiah is a little bit more aggressive. Just they like to be in offense, purely what we get from the stats. I don't know if you guessed either of these teams during league play, because I sadly haven't. But purely based on the stats that we're seeing, Messiah's being very aggressive, Infinity being a little bit more all-round. So curious to see how these two teams will match up against each other.
Well, Messiah have been very aggressive. Again, I haven't seen these teams either, but even looking at those stats, Messiah have been very aggressive in the 200 goals scored, but only 128 conceded as well. The fact that they've only conceded that much while being aggressive shows that they're a really strong team all round, communicating well, rotating at the right times, obviously have the individual talent, but are then able to combine that together to work really well as a unit and as a team and just pick apart enemy teams throughout the game. So yeah, they definitely look very strong. I'm looking forward to getting into this one, seeing how they perform. Again, I do say, you know, on the day it can really go either way, but those stats are potentially telling. We'll see how much of those stats sort of come through into this game if we see Messiah be high scoring and also while managing to keep a good defense.
Yeah, and luckily for us, we got the players in the lobby. We got all 6 ready to go. But before we actually start talking about all the action, what do you predict here in this series? Who do you think is going to win it?
Well, to be honest, I'm giving it 3-1 Infinity. I think we're going to have a little bit of an upset. I think, you know, at this stage, we are going to see teams, you know, just begin to pull things out of the bag. I love a good underdog story. Messiah clearly better on the stats, but I've just ranted on about how stats don't always matter on the day. So my heart is telling me Infinity, so I'm going to go Infinity.
Well, I'm gonna join you there actually. I'm also going Infinity, but I think we will see another Game 5, just like we saw Severance take on Abyss in the Game 5. I'm thinking that Infinity will go 3-2 over Messiahs here. I agree with you. Stats don't say anything. If a team just feels it, then they're obviously the better side. And Carrick's now quick shot on target, so close to actually opening the scoreline. And for those people who didn't notice already, Game 1 on the way, 1 minute come and gone. Messiahs in blue, Infinity in orange. And the first goal is already in just under the 1 minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, that was a terrific goal from Messiah. We've already seen them be quite strong on the offense, and then that was just a terrific finish as well, right into the corner, taking the defenders out of the equation. Messiah have started off here looking dangerous, but so did Infinity. They got that ball up the pitch once, and they certainly looked dangerous, but maybe an answer back for Messiah to double the lead. It looks like that has happened, and Infinity caught sleeping a little bit there on the defense.
Yeah, and we're in the first, for the first 52 seconds, there was nothing happening, shots both sides, and now within 6 seconds, Messiah has just took 2-goal leads. MV doing a lot of work here on his own, and Pizza doing a lot of effort to make sure the ball gets in front of the net. MV again in the air, looking for his 3rd goal already. Oh now, throw the backboard, looking for an opportunity, gets cleared by Memco. Memco has some boost to work with. Tries to get past one, but MV a little bit too strong there in the 50 to deny that opportunity. And so far in this first minute and a half, where we thought that Infinity has a very good chance of battling against Messiah, they come out swinging here at the start.
Yeah, Messiah, after scoring that goal to go 3-0 up, it's quickly changing my mind and my predictions, because you look at the way they're scoring these goals, they aren't flukes. Maybe other than that second goal, it's not a case of that they're capitalizing on terrific situations all the time. They are just, they have quality shots, and they're passing the ball in such a way that picks apart Infinity. They are just stretching them across the field. Infinity don't seem to have any answers here at the moment, and it's just been a completely dominant performance in this first 2 minutes from Messiahs. This scoreline could get pretty rough pretty quickly if Infinity can't answer back.
Yeah, and only time will tell, but luckily it's only Game 1. We have the opportunity to go the full distance and play all 5, but it all depends on Infinity if they can bounce back or not. But for now, Poe in the air gets a beautiful touch from the ceiling, drop down. Carrix gets an easy save, but they're again under a lot of pressure. JB saves his team with a massive clear, but the demo on the backline might open up. Sadly, the goal will not happen. Woodwork is Infinity's friend here. Memco not the best of touches, but gets the ball into the corner. Doesn't have any boost to work with. Tries to take a little bit of control. Fakes out Poe. but Pro just being annoying there in the corner, forcing that 50. And when we thought Infinity could bring it into the other half, Messiah is just denying every turn.
Yeah, Messiah are completely dominant here, controlling the halfway line, just waiting for a clearance from Infinity so they can take it and bring it back up again. And maybe a good opportunity there, but again, you look how well that clearance has worked out as MV6 taking it straight away back onto the offense. They are just so dangerous here. And honestly, from a game that I thought might be tied, you know, the stats didn't tell a whole load of difference. Again, it painted Messiah as the better team, but not by this margin. We're seeing different levels here as Messiah just get that next goal. And you got to take a look at there as I have no idea how to pronounce that name. 314 ZZA. That's what we're here now. 4 assists as well from Messiah. So these players have their roles and they're playing them superbly.
Yeah, no, I think his name is a little bit of a joke because you know the number pi is 3.14, and if you had ZZA, you get pizza.
Oh, pizza!
Yeah, it's a really bad one. I realized it as well when we just started with the game because I was like 314. I was like, no, that can't be a name. But please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think his name is Pizza, and I'm just going with Pizza for this entire series, also because I love it.
I think you're right. I think it has to be a play. You know, nothing is funnier than a joke involving maths as my primary school say.
Yeah, and I think these guys can agree as well. Carrick's now tries to get into the air, but Pro immediately denying him. And I want to say that Infinity, they're fighting back, but they're struggling here in this game number 1. I really hope for them in game number 2 they can find an answer, but Carrick's already puts in 1 here. It might not be enough to bring back this game, but it can at least create a lot of momentum going into the next one.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, but again, you just look at the overall ebb and flow of this game and how they got that goal. Every fighter can land a punch, but whether it's a knockout is an entirely different story. And Messiah just conceded one that was a little bit unlucky, maybe they'd feel. It certainly won't be a confidence denter to them, and Infinity maybe will be trying to look at it in a way where they can maybe start a comeback, but you know, if they're not looking through that lens of the glass half full, they will know themselves that was a goal that was a little bit on the lucky side. And even look at this, they're almost getting toyed with on the offense here.
Yeah, and I think they don't know how to handle the offense at this point. You see them all going for clear after clear after clear, and Carrick's now beautiful dribble there, but his teammate and Mimical did so much. Oh, not Mimical, JB, excuse me, did so much work being annoying on the wall towards Pizza, just bumping him out of the way, making sure that Carrick had a free net. And now 35 seconds, only a 2-goal deficit here.
I mean, it's possible. You have to give a lot of credit to the fact that there was disruption on the defensive line before the goal. I think that was a major part in the actual getting of that goal. You were absolutely right in saying that. And if they can keep that up, if they can go in there and just go in with the mentality of being a nuisance, go for demolitions, play off the ball in an overly aggressive way, just shake things up in a way that just, as I said, tries to be more of a nuisance. It might leave you slightly more open on the defense, but at the end of the day, they aren't doing too well on the defense right now, Infinity. So they got to go into this game number 2 employing some of the tactics they seem to have started employing here in this game 1.
Yeah, and here it is, the end of game number 1. Messiahs, they had an amazing start, going 4-0 within just minutes of gameplay. But Infinity, they managed to bounce back. Took them a little while to actually adjust to how Messiah is playing, and maybe they haven't really scrimmed each other. They were definitely not in each other's conference, so I don't think they played each other before this. And, well, we can talk about stats forever and ever, and definitely in this scenario. Because you said it perfectly halfway through this game. Messiah, we saw from the stats they have a high scoring team. They scored 200 goals, they only conceded like 130. But to score 4 goals within 2.5 minutes, that's just insane. And we're here in playoffs, so you are the best of the best already at this point. And you're just say like, okay, we're going to score 4 goals so fast, and then we're going to toy with you. And Infinity, they bounced back, but it took them so long to actually recover from what Messiah was doing to them.
Yeah, Messiah seemed like a team that are just playing at the top of their game and sort of capitalizing on the fact that they were starting a little more warmed, it seemed. They seemed more fire up from the get-go. They were just taking advantage of the fact that Infinity weren't really there to begin with. And to be fair, you got to give Infinity credit, which I didn't when they scored that first goal. But when they got that second, they started playing like a team who actually had a bit of belief about them, who could come back, start doing some damage. And after the way that game number 1 ended, I'd have a feeling that this game 2, you know, it's going to be a little closer. I think Infinity are going to start playing their best Rocket League. But Messiah, I think, are just a team as well that they could maybe go up another gear, play a bit more controlling on the offense, pull a few more cards out of their sleeve themselves. So it's still really hard to call. It's still really hard to call which way this one is going to go. But I don't know. Based off that game 1 and the dominance we've seen at the beginning, my money would still be on Messiah.
Yeah. I think it's a coin toss actually, because Messiah, obviously they are very aggressive. They came out swinging at the start of game number 1, but I definitely think that Infinity has a very solid chance here, purely based on how game number 1 went, where we saw Messiah just be aggressive, throw people forward, go for pass after pass after pass, and then shot after shot, use the backboard a lot. But Infinity, they were looking for different options to outplay Messiah, and I think that will definitely help them if they can do that consistently and keep switching up their gameplay whenever they're facing one of these players that's in front of them.
Well, we're already seeing the game shaping up quite differently here to game 1, in that both of these teams, they're trying the offenses and they've both had decent chances, but for the most part it's been really cagey. No real shots coming in, no team sort of asserting themselves on the control. It's been quite back and forth. Very, very even to begin with here. It looks like both of these teams have got the reads of each other, and as far as the momentum shift, it looks like Infinity have definitely caught up, at least to the way Messiah were playing.
Yeah, and now Carrick's in the corner. He's taking control. He has MV at 50, and he gets it past 1, but it gets bumped off immediately. So Mimical has some time to take it into the air. Can go for the edge over here. Flip reset attempt. Not enough power behind it to force it behind Pro. But now a full open net, and JB will score the first goal. And for the first time in the series, Infinity takes the lead.
Yeah, good goal from Infinity, capitalizing on a mistake from the Messiahs. And, you know, that's something we didn't really consider. We've seen a perfect game 1 from Messiah without really any massive mistakes. But nearly every team is going to have a mistake in them at some point. They're going to have a game where it's just not lining up for them. And we don't know how frequently Messiah usually have mistakes, because of course we haven't really watched them. I mean, the stats might tell a story. But if Infinity now can start capitalizing on the odd mistake or two that Messiahs make and be really clinical on the finish, then we could be in for a way closer series than game number 1 initially made it look to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I completely agree on that one. And I kind of hope that we're getting something like that, because obviously it's playoffs. Everyone loves a hectic playoff. No one wants to see sweep after sweep after sweep. Everyone wants to see at least 4 games, hopefully 5 games, because more is better. But at least some chaos. And now a beautiful player, Carrick's Mimical linking up, 2-0 lead.
Well, you know, maybe it's the pitch, you know, different grass, different traction, whatever it may be, but Mimical getting in there for a fantastic finish. That was a brilliant, brilliant team goal. I mean, the passing was on point, the momentum was there. I don't know how they've shifted it so quickly to make Messiah look on the back foot. I mean, I still thought Infinity would have been able to go in and do some damage, maybe win the game, but do it in such a way where they're playing counter-attacks and sort of getting lucky against the opposition. But when they go on the attack now, Infinity, in this game number 2, they look like a real threat.
Yeah, and that is the beauty of playoffs, and that's why we all love this, because every team can step up. Like we said in game 1, Messiah's being the aggressor, and in game 2, it's Infinity. But Pro and MV, they link up, they have an answer. MV dropping it down, Pro immediately follow up on the awkward Mimical, and now it's a 2-1 game. And
well,
it's
that was
only
a fantastic pass. Sorry for interrupting there, but I just, while it was on the screen, I had to say what a pass on every 6 there, just to put that in. This picture perfect stuff. Messiah, once again, they're showing the quality that they can show in this game.
Yeah, and the only thing I just wanted to add was, it's only a 1 goal difference at this point. 2 goals might sound a little bit more, and it can give you a little bit more help, but 1 goal, you only have to score once, you're already tied, and you can force it overtime. So for Messiah, they're in a really good position right now. If they can bounce back to the offense they had in game 1, then they can definitely tie up this game. But for Infinity, they can't be as aggressive as they wanted to be at the start of this game. They need to be a little bit more all-around like we used from them. just so they can kind of counterbalance on everything that Messiah is throwing at them.
Yeah, I mean, that was a terrific save there. Just going to throw that in as well. Messiah playing really, really well on the defense there to stop that. But again, maybe Infinity are worried about going too defensive because, let's be honest, on the defense, they had no choice but to play quite defensive in that game number 1, and they just couldn't handle the pressure from Messiah. Maybe they're going with the mentality now, offense is the best defense. We'll get it into the opposition half, we'll play quick, we'll play aggressive, and as just seen there with that goal by apparently JB, the aggression works. Pushing up quick, catching them on the counter-attack, and getting the job done. Terrific finish now, 3-1 with 55 seconds to go. Infinity have changed up their game plan. It's working really well for them here in game 2.
Yeah, and one thing I love there, JB, he knew he had a full open net, because I think his teammates called out as well, and he was like, nah, I'm gonna style on you. I drop it towards the wall and I do a double, and Carrickson from the ceiling puts in another one. Infinity, they are feeling it. Carrick's beautiful shot here makes it really hard for the defense immediately after kickoff. 4-1 lead. If Messiah score one more goal, then we have the exact same scoreline as we had in game 1, but just the other way around. Would be quite ironic, but 40 seconds. Do you think they can do it?
I don't think Messiah have it in them to come back. They need to get their little brothers off the controllers ASAP, because we're seeing a different team with such different momentum. I mean, the ebb and flow of this series so far has been such a thing of beauty to watch, because we've watched Infinity grow into this one from that game 1 at a point where, yeah, they don't really look confident, but they look like at least that they can do damage to Messiah. And that's flipped to just total dominance as Carrick scores another to make it 5-1. I mean, I don't know how Infinity have turned this around in the way that they've managed to do it, but so far, just terrific from them. They're going to tie this up at 1-1.
Yeah, and 5 goals, it's definitely an answer after game 1, but that final goal, it was just, obviously a demo doesn't help, but when you're in defense. But you should know that you can never leave your last man open, but MV6, beautiful answer here. Sees the ball come towards him, takes a beautiful shot, jumping from the wall, defense nowhere to be found. He does get 1 goal back, maybe a little bit of momentum going into game number 3. But
I mean, we saw it, didn't we? We saw it with Infinity at the end of that game 1. That second goal was sort of the beginning of the momentum shift going into this game 2. Maybe we're about to see the same thing.
Yeah, and was this an own goal?
I believe it was. I believe he just wanted to help him out, improve the scoreline a little bit.
I was looking at it, I saw Poe on the ground the entire time. I saw one of the orange guys just completely shook his own head, but I was completely confused there. But still, Infinity won here. Beautiful showing, beautiful bounce back as well after that really rough game 1. But now comes the real question. Seb, who do you think will bounce back or who do you think will be the upper hand in game number 3? Will Infinity continue the power that they have, or will Messiah bounce back?
I would think Infinity are going to keep this going, and that's just not to try and be in line with my prediction here. Don't get me wrong, that would be nice, but I think with Infinity, we seen Infinity throughout game number 1 begin to read how Messiah was going to play and begin the corrections. And we did see Messiah score at the end of that game 2, and of course the own goal so graciously given to them to make it 5-3. But let's be honest, it was 5-2 in terms of the goals that Messiah were actually able to get. And while they were getting those goals, they were nice finishes. It wasn't so much of a momentum shift in the way that they were playing. It was more of just showing their individual moments of brilliance to get a nice counter-attacking goal, the odd goal here or there, which all top quality players should be able to get. They didn't look like they improved too much on the defense throughout the entirety of that game, so it looks like that in terms of just the offensive line that Infinity are holding, that continues to be there for them to capitalize on. They can keep Messiah pushed back, keep playing aggressively, and most likely keep scoring goals. So unless Messiah are going to change it going into game number 3, I don't think we're going to have much of a different scoreline.
Oh well, only time will tell if that prediction will come through. Obviously, I think that Messiah will definitely take 1 more game, but I don't know if it's going to be this game or the next game. Or it has to be either this game or the next game, otherwise just Infinity is running away with it. And I definitely think Infinity has a very good chance to continue what they're doing, but now here at the start, we see that Messiah is being a little bit more aggressive, like we got used to them from in game number 1. JB not the best at touches, MV immediately towards the backboard. Carrick's not the best at touches, again MV with a fake, Poe with the shot. It will find the bottom corner, and Messiah open the scoring.
Yeah, good goal from Messiah. I mean, I think the defending could have been a little better all round, but again, I think Messiah are kind of playing the right game here off the beginning. Again, I know only 30 seconds gone, so maybe this is just a coincidence, but they're not letting Infinity go on the attack. I think that's kind of the key for both of these teams here, is that they just want to stop the other team from going on the attack and keep up a pressing continual offense, because both of these teams seem to be so dangerous when they go forward that they're just completely happy to keep going forward and make sure that that ball stays in the opposition's half.
Yeah, and here Mimical looking for an opportunity from the wall, but no teammate to be found. Carrick's again towards the backboard. We've seen him there so many times already in this series, and he will continue to do so. And Messiahs, they just want to be aggressive. They're only throwing their players forward. Mimical now finally managed to get the ball all the way into the other half. Carrick's wanted to follow up JB in midfield, trying to keep the pressure at least somewhat in midfield so they don't have to defend with 3 players. Mimical not the best of touches. Pizza trying to be a little bit disruptive on the back line, but can make it happen. MV not the best touch, but luckily for him, Poe immediate follow-up. And now 1 goal in favor of Messiah, and immediately afterward it's a bit of a ping-pong game. The ball's going back and forth, but no team really pushing forward with all 3 players to make sure that their attack keeps going.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing kind of what I would almost think would be like a typical game 3 with one team, with the scores at 1-1, is that one team played very well in the offense game 1, one team played very well in the offense in game 2. Now both of these teams are just trying to contain the offenses that they know the opposing team has, leading to just a real cagey affair with no one really wanting to give an edge. Again, they're both going up, and there is a lot of aggression there, as I said there would be. I think that's how these teams are still preferring to play, but no one really applying the finishing touch, because the difference is, in comparison to the last games, is that they're always making sure to have someone on that back line ready to commit the save.
Yeah, and now Poe looking for an opportunity. JB will deny him, but MV already up, quick shot on target. Poe looking for a demo, but the defense jumps, and that leads to a full open net. Shot is wide. MV with another shot, but the defense is a little bit too strong. JB quick reflexes to make sure that the scoreline will only get 1, so they won't be trailing by 2. And now every time when I see one of the players from Infinity in the corner, there's one player from Messiah just there forcing 50s, making sure it's awkward. Poe, quick shot on target, Mimical, beautiful clear towards the ceiling. JB not the best touch there, and again 2 players in the corner just forcing 50s, and you're just waiting for a goal, and it was so close. Poe from the ceiling, if I'm correct, puts in the 2nd goal.
Yeah, I mean, that arguably throughout the entire series was the longest piece of sustained offense that we've seen, and that's what led to the goal. You know, they just kept the ball in that half, kept pinging it in. As soon as Infinity tried to clear, Messiah were just there to put it right back in, constantly hitting dangerous balls in, forcing Infinity to make some pretty good saves, all things considered. But Messiah have definitely improved on their ability to hold an offense in this game number 3, and it's showing with that scoreline.
Yeah, and JB, a little bit of an awkward touch there. Poe now in the corner looking for a shot, fakes it instead. MV with a follow-up. Defense thought the ball was going high, and now a beautiful team play here from Messiahs, making sure that they are extending their lead, show that they're still the dominant force here in this series as they were in game number 1.
Yeah, it's beginning to look like that point now where Messiah could take this one. Still a little bit of time left for Infinity, but they've been so subdued in this game, unable to get out at all on a good offense for the last almost 2 minutes, I believe it feels like. And maybe there's an opportunity here, but it's a good save. And yeah, I think Infinity now are in a position where the clock is working against them just a little too much.
Yeah, and it will be very difficult, and hopefully they can get 1 goal to at least create again a little bit of momentum going into this game number 4 that we'll have in just over a minute and a half. But by the looks of it now, it's gonna be very difficult, because for the first time in this game we're actually seeing them in offense, but the defense is a little bit too strong, and now an overcommit from the entire team. Pizza will throw it all the way to the other side. 4-0 lead, and could this be a repeat of game number 1?
I think it is. Honestly, a little bit unlucky there, all things considered. But yeah, 4-0 down. It's telling. Like, Messiah deserve this scoreline in this game. There's no doubt about it. Infinity, it's not like a case that they've been unlucky. They've just been dominated, completely subdued, no real threat on the offense. Of course, they will look to change that here again, get a couple of goals, reset going into game 4. But so far, this game 3 is looking done and dusted.
Yeah, and it's only 44 seconds. Clock ticking down. Poe looking for another one. He will get it. 5-0, 40 seconds, or what, 39 seconds actually remaining. I don't think Messiah can score anymore or do anything else than just score goals. I hope they don't score anymore. That Infinity says, okay, now it's actually enough. Let us at least score one or at least stop you. But a double commit like this is not gonna help him.
No, for sure. I mean, I think Infinity, again, they're just doing that thing of just trying to get a goal to get the momentum back. I think they'd rather lose 7-1 than they would 6-0, you know, that kind of way. I think they want to get the ball in the net, they want to get the momentum going, they want to pull off a couple of good passes and want to actually sustain an offense, because they have not sustained an offense this entire game. And maybe that's because of mistakes on their end, but you have to give massive credit to Messiah for subduing the counterattacks.
Oh, definitely. Messiah, they answered when it was necessary. Now an opportunity for a goal for Infinity, but a little bit of chaos denies them that from happening. And now Messiah, they take game number 3. They're 2-1 here in series, and they only need one more win in game number 4 to make sure they are moving on in the upper bracket. Even though if Infinity lose here, they're not out, they will just move to the lower bracket. They still have more than enough chances to bounce back and make it to that grand finals. But I don't know. My prediction was definitely a game 5 where Infinity they win. But seeing how Messiah bounced back after losing 5-2 or 5-3 in game 2, I'm afraid it's gonna end here in 4 if Messiah can keep going like this and Infinity doesn't have an answer.
Yeah, it's very much looking like that. I mean, it's strange. Infinity played so well in that game 2 to the point I think they really had something where they were just going to be able to come back and, you know, maybe not win it. Because let's be honest, Messiah do seem like the team. The stats say it and how they're performing on the day says it. The quality is there for them to go through and win any game. But Infinity looked like after that game 2 that they were going to just be in with being able to make a good challenge. Like they were going to get a couple of goals. They were going to keep it close. But again, I think that's where you have to give credit to Messiah. They're just altering their game every game, and granted, it didn't really work for them game 2, but game 3, they just went right back to what was doing well for them in game 1. Sustained periods of offense, closing down that counter-attack, not giving Infinity a second to breathe. And if they can keep that going in this game, then yeah, I think this may be the last game that we see tonight.
Yeah, and here it is, game 4 underway. Match point for Messiah. Infinity, they're battling to stay alive here in the upper bracket. Double commit, but the character does get a shot on target. Won't be enough to open the scoreline here within the first 15 seconds. MV now going for a flip reset attempt, so close to having it, but it's just a little bit too awkward. And now JB all the way into the other end, just slowly dribbling it. Immediate follow-up. And already here at the start, we see a little bit of a different Infinity than what we've seen in the previous game. But everything can change so fast when Messiah actually put on their normal offense that we're used from them right now. And
yeah, but just to put in there really quickly, again, we've seen what Infinity done in game 2 in shutting down the Messiah's offense. In a weird way, they play very similar. So if Infinity just can start off quick and not give Messiah the chance to go on a decent offense, then we could see an opposite scoreline. We could see Infinity begin to dominate.
yeah, it could definitely be just a turnaround from game number 2, but not like this, where Pizza just throws the ball into midfield behind 2 defenders, and then Poe rips a rocket towards the back of the net, and Messiah opened the scoreline.
Yeah, great goal from Poe. They're actually very similar to one of the goals that I believe Infinity got in that game number 2, where they dominated. Great passing play in the offense, crossing it in through to the center with a nice rifle finish into the net. Fantastic goal for Messiah. Well worked together as a team. And yeah, Infinity are going to hope, we're going to hope at least that Infinity aren't too disheartened by that score.
Yeah, and so far it doesn't look like they're disheartened by it. They'll just continue to keep on pushing because they want to stay in the upper bracket like obviously everyone else. But it's going to be very difficult if they can't find an answer like they did in game number 2. And now you can just see everyone from the side. They're just slowly pushing forward one by one. Their second and third men quite aggressive actually, but since Infinity doesn't have the answer here in game number 4 like they want to, they can just do it. They don't have to push back. And now maybe an opportunity, but MV will immediately shut it down with a bang all the way into the other half. Paul actually going for a demo now from the backboard. Will do a pass. MV trying to follow up. Pizza follows up instead. And now it's a 2-goal lead for Messiah.
Yeah, a bit of a poor defense on the overall there. An air of panic, I believe, from Infinity rushing for that ball. Now, they may have thought that that goal was coming a little sooner in that play. Maybe that's why they rushed, but still, all that really needed to happen there was just the goal line needed to be held and get ready for the clearance. But I think it's beginning to dawn on Infinity here that they're in real trouble, and I think that's why we're seeing a bit of a change up in this gameplay. I think Messiah are just going to keep growing into this one at this rate.
Yeah, and an even sadder thing is that, if I'm correct, what I'm seeing, Mimical has, his PC has crashed or his internet has crashed, so it's gonna be a 3v2 here, and it's gonna hurt, but Pizza scored another goal.
Yeah, Pizza taking his own slice of the game. Taking 2, in fact, as this is a second goal, and Infinity, it just keeps getting worse and worse for them here at the moment. Maybe, I wonder, could it be rage quit maybe? Could we have potentially seen a rage quit knowing that the game was done? I would doubt it, but yeah, he's loaded back in, so that mustn't be the case. It's very unfortunate for Infinity to concede a goal in those circumstances, but hey, maybe they'll be able to answer back.
Yeah, and they still have 2 minutes and 20 left to play. More than enough time for them to bounce back, because in the beginning of game number 2 they scored a couple goals within 2 minutes 20, so they can definitely do it again. Maybe Mimical now has some extra energy, realizing that he couldn't, that he crashed, and he's like, okay, I don't want to this happen again. I want to continue in the upper bracket. I'm just going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. But they need to score as fast as possible. Otherwise, it will be very difficult. Now, with JB going into the air, Mimical as well. Now it's a full open orange net. MV will do an air dribble all the way into the other side, and it's a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, a 4-0 lead for Messiahs, who are playing incredibly well here, but I think Messiahs have to do the gentlemanly thing. I think they have to concede a goal. They scored when Mimical was disconnected. If they are true gentlemen, as all Rocket League players should be, then they should give away a goal. I doubt they will, of course. Wouldn't it be lovely to see a bit of sportsmanship in that instance?
Oh, that would have been so beautiful to actually concede a goal, give a little bit of momentum in favor of Infinity here, and then just say like, okay, now we're actually gonna play, and then Infinity actually all the momentum. But now beautiful play by the Infinity roster. Mimical gets the credit, Character with the infield pass, JB towards the backboard, a demo on the goal line. Beautiful team play, and this is what we need to see from Infinity.
Well, Mimical reconnected to the lobby and reconnected with that ball to put it right in the opposition's net. There's still so much to do here for Infinity, but they have time. They just have to go and do it now. No room for mistakes.
Yeah, and we already see a couple demos, but now 50-50 in midfield will just shatter all the faith in their hearts that they had. The heart was already in pieces, they were putting it back together, and then as Pizza just forcing a 50, and it's like, nah, we're gonna tear it right open yet again. Again, a 4-goal deficit, 5-1 in favor of Messiahs here. 1:20 left to play. Does Infinity still have a chance to bounce back? What do you think, Seb?
Absolutely not. I mean, what did I just say, Infinity? The words had just come out of my mouth, no mistakes, and yet you go for a double commit where it pinches off the enemy player and goes straight in the net. I mean, terrific finish, and maybe you're trying to prove me wrong here by coming back into this game. I mean, a minute to go, we've seen crazier things. But yeah, Infinity, I think that just kind of encapsulates their night in that they've had some beautiful offensive moments, but just haven't been able to pull it together on the defense.
Yeah, and now 1 minute left to play. Mimical might put in another one, but the defense is already there. Mimical now into the air, trying to make contact, doesn't make it. Was just a little bit of an awkward read. Carrick's trying to keep it in there in midfield, not the best of touches there. And JB has to start all over from his own side. Look for Mimical in the corner. Mimical with the infield pass. JB going for the bomb. Doesn't connect, and Carrick's trying to keep in there, create something of a shot on target. But it's going to be a little bit too difficult. And one thing I love about this offense straight afterward is the counter-attack starts with MV. but the other two players from the Messiah roster immediately push up with him to make sure that there's always one player behind him if necessary.
Yeah, I mean, Messiah have just learned throughout this game. They got exposed for a lot of mistakes in that game too, but have since corrected them, playing some fantastic Rocket League here. And again, very nice goal from Team Infinity there. And you have to give them credit for not giving up. You know, they're trying their best. They've played the best Rocket League they can throughout the entirety of this. But ultimately, it just wasn't enough. I think the stats have ultimately told a story. There's a team that's slightly better on the stats in this game, and that team is playing slightly better in this series.
Yeah, and the final seconds ticking down. The ball will probably touch the ground in a couple seconds, and then we'll see the beautiful name of Messiahs that they're winning this series. They will win it 3-1 as they continue in the upper bracket. Infinity, they will drop down, and while I'm talking, I was hoping this ball would touch the ground, but for some reason it will do, but there we go. Messiahs are your winners here in the upper bracket. They will move on. Infinity, sadly, they're dropping down.
Yeah, GG's in that game. Congratulations to Messiah. Commiserations to Infinity. Both of them played fantastic Rocket League, but ultimately it was just Infinity who weren't able to pull it out of the bag at the end of the day. Showed some fantastic moments, have a lot of plays and a lot of things to be proud of on the overall, because they showed some really good offense at times, clearly really together as a unit. But yeah, it just ultimately wasn't enough at the end of the day. You have to give credit to Messiah. They played some fantastic offense, shut Infinity down by playing some really good defense, to the point where they were just defending on the halfway line. It seemed at one point they were that dominant. And yeah, I think in terms of dominance throughout the entirety of the series, the scoreline isn't really a fair reflection in that, you know, Messiahs, for the most part, other than that game too, really controlled a lot of this series. But then again, it's just credit to Infinity for when they had the few chances that they did, they made them count.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you there. But, you know, I think we can keep on talking on everything that went right on Messiah's side and went wrong on Infinity's side. But two things that we're definitely wrong on is our predictions. And I think we can already just knock each other in the head like, ah, come on, we should have seen this. But, you know, the play-ins bracket is on the screen. We're quickly going to recap what happened. Dogon, Hades, it's a 3-1 victory for Hades as they're moving on. And like you just saw on stream, Messiah has beaten Infinity 3-1. So Messiahs and Hades both in the upper bracket. And if we take a look at the lower bracket, you had Fearless Alpha beating Gladiators 3-1, but then falling themselves 3-2 to Rise Legion. So Rise Legion will move on in that lower bracket. And Severance beating Inferno, and then Severance immediately afterwards beating Abyss 3-2 in a thrilling game number 5. The Severance will also move on.
Yeah, terrific series on the overall there, I had to say. It's really curious to see how this one's going to shape up on the overall. Again, you know, I'm relatively new to the Rocket League scene, as I've harped on about quite a bit, as I'm sure people know. This is kind of my first time in and around, seeing how these teams are performing, getting to grips with the levels, and, you know, it's one of those things watching these teams play at time. You think, oh, I'm going to pick up the controller and give this a go myself because I love playing competitively. And then you just see how good some of these teams are and you're just throwing that controller right back down. Like, nope, I will never be as good as these guys. So having the opportunity to sit here and cast these guys at such a high level and do it with a fantastic team and on a fantastic stream of people such as yourself, you know, it's a terrific honor. I think that this is just a great game in the overall to be cast in Rocket League. I think getting the opportunity to cast over these teams as well. We got some just terrific teams playing top Rocket League, playing at the top of their game together, again, as a unit, but then able to show some individual moments of brilliance. I think there's many more moments like that to come, even in these play-ins.
Yeah, and, you know, that was play-ins. I just saw the bracket was up. We sadly missed it. But let's quickly still talk about that play-off bracket, since that is also very important for the rest of the weekend. We have Draugr and Hades facing off against each other in the upper bracket. And we have Phoenix taking on Messiah as well in the upper bracket. And then if we take a look at the lower bracket, we have Rise Legion taking it up against Dogon. And Severance taking on Infinity. And then afterwards, we'll have to see and wait what's going to happen, because there is just too much Rocket League action that has to happen this weekend before we can crown ourselves a master champion here. And you know, I think our predictions here were wrong. Infinity sadly lost and moved down, but they still have a lot more chances to continue it. But that's it for us here. We're done. We casted the entirety of play-ins right now. We're continuing tomorrow with playoffs, so make sure to tune in tomorrow. And I think the first series, if I'm correct, is at 6 p.m. CET. So if you don't want to miss anything, make sure to tune in there. We'll have the A stream and the B stream. So a lot of action, a lot of channels for you to pay attention to, and a lot of master playoffs coming your way. So for now, we're signing off, and we'll see you tomorrow.